go. All right, terrific, terrific, terrific. Casey, thank you so much for joining us. It is a rare occasion, but
My pleasure.
thank you. It's my personal view, and I know these two other gentlemen mirror this. You are one of the most authentic people in this marketplace. You've never been one that is doing anything other than providing value to people and teaching people from the very beginning. As you were learning it, you thought, okay, cool. I'll bet you other people want to know this. And regardless, we've been doing this for a little bit. We become friends over the last year or so. We're so grateful that you allow us to be able to provide value and sort of amplify your message to your audience. And to the naysayers out there, there's been, when we repost it on financial intelligence, there's been, people, oh, it's just a promotion. You guys are selling out, and all you want to do is do this and that and the other. Well, you know what? Change the channel. If what you see today or what you have seen does not provide value to you, then okay, we're not putting a gun to anybody's head to listen. You can change the channel. Those that speak negatively in any form or fashion, as you've heard us say before, are people that don't own this trader. The two powerhouses that you have the opportunity to see today, not Attila and I, but Mr. Barsano, who's created something that does not exist anywhere else on the planet, that regardless of whether you know how to spell crypto or not, puts you in a position to be able to create a legacy and make free money, as Ed calls it, in your sleep forever. So again, the only thing I'll say is listen closely, put your seatbelts on. We have a rare opportunity to be able to have Crypto Casey join us, particularly in this marketplace right now. Bitcoin just hit an all-time high. I do believe, Casey, the video that you did 3 or 4 or 5 days ago was spot on. You're not a hyper, you're a fact provider. And again, we love you. Thank you, thank you, thank you for joining us. And it's going to be a great deal. So with that, I'm going to do a little bit of housekeeping. So as those of you who have joined us the past month and a half, we're leaving the chat open. So chat amongst yourselves, be kind, be grateful for what we have here today and what we're able to provide for you. And if you've got questions, please put them in the Q&A. It's hard for us to monitor and watch what's going on both in the chat and the Q&A. But if you put your questions in, then if you want to address Casey directly, we may even take a couple of live and let you chat. I mean, what opportunity could there possibly be other than hitting the lottery that equals being able to ask Casey a question? So with that, enough of my blah, blah, blah. I'm going to share my screen as soon as I get my expectations here up. Bear with me. Okay.
Yeah, welcome to everybody who just joined us in the last few minutes. We're going to get rocking and rolling right now. So sit tight, like Edward said, put your seatbelts on. This is going to be a good one.
Well, I'm going to drink some of my smart water before we get started.
All right. Okay. I don't know why this was giving me some problems, but I think I finally got it. Okay. Share expectations. I'm just going to go right down the list. You can see my screen okay?
Yes, it's up there. Yep.
Okay, very good. Let me make it a little bit larger. Okay, I'm going to draw your attention. Oh my God. Okay. Draw your attention to the bottom red, which is what you're going to see in here today is for informational, educational purposes only. Nothing that we're going to share is intended or should be considered to be financial, legal, or tax advice. As I always joke, if you've got any questions about your need marital therapy, then Mr. Barsano will jump in. And nothing that you see is guaranteed, and no return of performance is guaranteed. It is a very rare time in history that you have the opportunity to see something that works automatically for you, and in these market conditions. So what you're going to see today is about a 45-minute overview. We have the privilege of having Crypto Casey here, so she's going to comment along the way, and we're going to ask her some questions along the way as well. Then you're going to see about 45 minutes to an hour. We always say that. We always run a little bit late. So if you can't stay with us through all the Q&A, if you have to go, no worries. If you registered, obviously you're here. You will get a replay within the next 24 to 48 hours. You'll get a chance to meet, as we've already introduced. I've not introduced myself. My name's Edward Pereira, my co-host, Attila Hevesy, good friend and business partner. Obviously, Crypto Casey needs no introduction, and we have Mr. Barsano, Mr. Bar Sinister, that has created something that we all need to understand. You're also going to have an opportunity to see what I call, I've coined it the $1 billion report, which is something that in the ever improving system that Mr. Barsano and his team have put together allows you to get some intelligence on what are the highest trade count, most volatile coins in the marketplace. And this, like no other platform, this platform eats volatility. You're going to see a live trader if Attila calls on me to show you the simulator that I've created over the last couple of months. It has been, even in a down and sideways market, the performance has been off the charts. You're going to understand what it's like to make money in your sleep 24/7, 365, really 366, because it doesn't take that day off either. You're going to understand there's nothing like GoBabyTrade anywhere else in the world, because it literally trades for you. You don't have to have any knowledge. You don't have to, there's no crypto skills, no blockchain skills, no knowledge whatsoever. And you're going to have an opportunity to, if you employ this tool, to automate a portion, a good portion, a little portion, some of your financial life. And like I said, this is an exciting day. As we are sitting here now, Bitcoin is at an all-time high, and get ready for the ride. So with that, Mr. Hevesy, please take the wheel.
All right. Well, I appreciate the introduction, Edward. Good job with the expectations. Folks, my name is Attila Hevesy, and my job is really twofold. Number one, just quickly explain how it is that we're all here and why we're all here, how I met Mr. Barsano over a decade ago. Gosh, time flies. It's unbelievable. And also a little background on myself. Let's start with that. You know, sometimes it's better to be lucky than good. And basically, 5 years ago, my background is financial. I've always been in financial services. However, 5 years ago, I just happened to have the time to take advantage of learning about this digital money revolution. I'm talking blockchain, DeFi, decentralized finance, crypto, AI, NFTs, real world assets, all those things. And not everybody's that fortunate. You know, a lot of people are just too busy trying to make a buck, and they can't take 5, 6, 7 hours a day and self-teach themselves like I did about what's going on. Because see, I totally missed the internet revolution. And I promised myself there's no way I'm going to miss out on this, because number one, it's way too interesting. I get bored real fast. I've not been bored 1 minute of 1 hour of one day for the last 5 years. There's so much happening every minute of every day in this space globally that it's a mind bender, and it's exciting and it's lucrative as heck. So I promised myself, I said, Attila, do not miss this like you missed the last one. And the reason I said that to myself is because I understood where we were in history. Every once in a while, there's disruptive technologies that come by, and some of us pay attention to it, some of us just start using it, and we didn't even know what happened. We just know that all of a sudden we're doing something differently. For example, all of you, or most of you, stopped using the home telephone when the cell phone came along. The cell phone disrupted everything. All of you stopped using Blockbuster when Netflix had streaming video. Totally disrupted everything, streaming video. Most of you stopped using taxis when Uber came along. totally disrupted everything, right? On your phone, you could order a car, cashless, whole new world, right? Well, guess what? The absolute biggest disruption in probably either the history of mankind or since the advent of electricity is this digital money revolution. Because what is it disrupting? It's disrupting money, the entire global financial system. So the internet revolution was about data over internet, information over internet, and this is all about money, finance over the internet. And we couldn't have this digital money revolution without that prior internet revolution. So that's why I realized 5 years ago, there's no way I'm missing this. And then within all of what I just explained comes an opportunity for us that want to prosper is another disruption created by the man I'm going to introduce and explain how I met him, which is this robotic autonomous trader. And it comes with a 25-year history. So let's talk about Mr. Barsano. When he got out of the Navy after high school, he went in the Navy, learned how to program, and then afterwards did some nuclear engineering, I believe. And if I'm off on that, I know you're going to correct me. But eventually in the mid-'80s, was one of the first 300 people to be hired by Bill Gates at Microsoft. Now, this is when Microsoft was going vertical. I mean, they were just going bonkers. And he was he did very well there. He was kind of a rock. He doesn't like when I say this, but he was kind of a rock star there for 9-10 years, retired a young man, and wasn't even 40 yet, was bored to death. And unfortunately, in the year 2000, he got creamed.
Fortunately,
right. For all
There
of
you
us,
go.
fortunately.
Yep, that's true. And I'm so glad you correct me every time because it actually makes more of an impact when you correct me. So fortunately, but by the end of the first hour,
I'll do it more often.
Yeah. Oh, I know you will. And the nice thing is by the end of the first hour, all of you will understand why it is fortunately rather than unfortunately. But what that led to was Mr. Barsano saying, you know what? He said two things. Number one, obviously this market is rigged. The stock market for the average person is rigged. Most people don't stand a chance. Number two, they're messing with the wrong guy. They picked on the wrong guy. I'm bored. I have all this knowledge. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to level the playing field. And that's what he did. He decided to develop with his programming experience and knowledge, the world's first fully robotic, autonomous stock market trading platform for the average person, not for the uber wealthy, not for Wall Street, for you and I. And you know, he marketed that over the years. And then a mutual friend of ours actually asked me a question in 2012. He said, Attila, how'd you like to make money in the stock market trading, but you don't have to do anything except buy a software? I said, what? I've always wanted to trade the stock market, but there was no way I was going to learn how to trade. Number one, I don't have the patience for it. And I'm not a technical person. And to me, that's too technical. I'm a big picture sentiment guy. Always have been, and it's worked well for me. So he gave me the details, introduced me to Mr. Barsano, and I said, let's go. I want to buy this. I bought it in 2012, 3-year license, and it worked like a charm. Now, I will say it was tedious and it was cumbersome to set up back then because it was downloadable software, took 60 to 90 minutes to set up. But get this, once it was set up, on Monday morning at 9:30, it turned itself on, traded for you all day in the markets, taking profits, buying more shares of stock as it went down in price, so that when it went back up, it could cash out for you. And it did this 100% unattended. Now, what does that mean? That means you could be on an airplane flying from New York to LA, and this thing's making money for you while you're flying. Now, maybe not every hour of every day, maybe every other day, maybe every third day. It's market dependent. And you will hear us say that and emphasize that over and over again tonight. Everything is market dependent, really, in the world of finance, okay? But especially trading. Now, Mr. Barsano teamed up back then with a marketing group, and they sold $16 million worth of licenses in just 2 years, which was spectacular. And we actually had fun. I helped to market this a little bit back then. We were on airplanes flying together, walking down the aisle of airplanes with laptops, showing people our traders, breaking bread. We had a ball. But here's the bottom line. Partnerships are tough. His partners didn't really hold up their end of the bargain. So he went back to solo, and in 2019, sold out to a hedge fund that had previously purchased many licenses from him. Now, this is where it gets interesting. It takes a little twist. So he was approached, Ed was approached numerous times by people that had previously bought the stock trader in 2019 and 2020 about putting together a crypto trader. And he was busy, he thought about it, and then the more he studied it, he said, you know what, that's not a bad idea. So in March of 2024, we fast forward 4 years now, March of 24, I'm sitting there, I'm happy with my portfolio, but I'm a cash flow guy. I love cash flow. When I was growing up, my parents always said, cash is king. Now, I have a problem with that. I think that's not true anymore. I think it's been replaced with cash flow is king. Because if you have enough cash flow coming into the household, life is good. If there's not enough cash flow, life can be rough. So I'm looking for cash flow, different projects. And I'm sitting there going, how can I just simplify my life and have my crypto that I'm already making, because I was in a few projects, make more crypto on itself in a simple fashion? And I don't know why it took me so long. It took me a whole day, but the next day, 24 hours later, I said, oh my gosh, I totally forgot about my friend Ed Barsano. I'll bet somewhere along the line, he created a robotic trader for crypto. So I still had his number in my iPhone. I called him, I tracked him down. We spoke for 3 hours and he confirmed my hunch. He said, yes, Attila, in April of 2021 is when I launched my crypto trader. And he said, it's light years ahead of the stock trader. And he gave me 4 compelling reasons why. Now, please listen carefully, because this is really important. This is the nitty gritty. Number 1, he said, Attila, you know you need lots of volatility to make money in any kind of trading. Stocks, Forex, precious metals, crypto, doesn't matter. He said there's no asset class on planet Earth with more volatility than crypto. And I agreed with him because I knew that already. He said, number 2, stocks trade 5 days a week, 6 hours a day. Crypto's 24/7. That's a big advantage. And it's so true, it really is. So much more money can be made in that fashion because of that. Number 3 and number 4 really is what just blew me away. Number 3, he said, Attila, great news. It's not downloadable software anymore. I made it web-based. And I said, and what does that mean exactly? He said, that means that I could have you trading live in 10 minutes or less, instead of programming software for 60 to 90 minutes before you get started, like back in 2012. I said, giddy up, let's go. I bought the trader on the spot. He had me trading live, connected me to my Coinbase account in 8 or 9 minutes. Now that really, really blew me away, because I remember the old way. This was such an improvement. But number 4, listen carefully, folks. This is one of the most important factors in anything related to your crypto, or generally speaking, quote unquote, your investments. You got to be safe. You got to be safe and secure. He said, Attila, I created an API connection to your own Coinbase account or your own Kraken account, depending on which one you use, so that you control your money 100% of the time. I can't touch your money if I wanted to. The trader is just a tool. It sends the buy and the sell signals to Coinbase or to Kraken. The money is controlled by me or us or you. That's the biggie. Now, let me explain why that was so big for me. It's a little embarrassing, folks, but in the last 4.5, almost 5 years, I have lost in 5 different blockchain, crypto, cash flow projects, a little over 100 grand. Now, I've obviously made more than that, but nobody wants to lose even 1/4 of that. That's a lot of money to lose. But I knew going in, I was going to be the guinea pig. It's a new nascent space. I was willing to lose some money, not quite that much. But think about why I lost that money. Because my crypto was not controlled by me. It was on a third-party exchange or wallet. So when things went south, I couldn't get to my funds, to my crypto, and that's not good. Here, you and I have total control. So that's a biggie. So as we go through this tonight, I'm going to ask everybody to just keep at the forefront of your minds 2 or 3 things. Okay, number one, when we say, and we refer to this trader as the only one in the world that's truly set it and forget it for what it does, and you'll see what it does, we mean set it and forget it. That means there's no screen time. You don't have to be in front of the, once you buy the software and you commit to that, and you go live and you're connected to Coinbase or Kraken, you could literally leave the country, not have a phone or a computer, not even look at your trader, and it's working for you on Ed Barsano servers. That's incredible. You could live your life and do what you normally do every day, and this will be making money for you in the background. Number 2, please understand what this man has created. It's pretty spectacular because I don't think it's ever been done before. In fact, it hasn't, not that I know of. He leveled the playing field where without any of us or without anyone being an accredited investor, without anyone having any knowledge about trading, without anyone having any knowledge about blockchain or crypto, you hardly have to have any knowledge about computers. You could now make money in your sleep, 24/7 with this robotic autonomous trader. Never been done before. So what he's brought forth to the world is pretty spectacular. It really is. So we're glad you're here tonight. Put your seatbelts on because this is where it gets real interesting. But before I introduce Mr. Barsano and Crypto Casey, I want Edward to come back on and show us something that blew my mind when he showed me, because I'm not trading those 4 that he's trading. In essence, he has well, Edward, why don't you bring up the screen share on your paper trader and share what the heck has gone on in the last almost 3.5 months with that thing? Because
in a down market.
In a down market. Now, things are just starting to pick up in the last 48 hours. Like Edward said, before we came on, 5 minutes before we went live tonight, I got a notification Bitcoin hit 114,000.
Wow.
I do believe that we're going to be at 150 before the end of the summer. But why don't you share with everybody your paper trading account? Because it's
as you were given the intro, there's a couple of folks that are anxious and chomping at the bit to see how this thing works. So I'm gonna show you my simulator. Then I'm gonna ask surprise Crypto Casey and ask her a couple of questions, and then we'll go back into our normal profile if you've joined us before. But okay, let me see. All right, can everybody see my screen?
Yes.
All right, okay, I'm going to give you a flyby, and Mr. Barsano jump in and correct me if I misstate anything. But I want to call your attention to March 25th, 2025. That's when I realized how powerful, and I mentioned in the intro, the $1 billion report, how powerful this report is and what it does if you simply pay attention to it. I didn't have to do any research. I didn't have to sweat over what the company did or why they did it. All I had to do was take the additional genius that Mr. Barsano continues to layer on, and you'll get a chance to see this report. And I took some of the top trading coins, not really knowing or caring for this example what they did or why they did it, other than the fact that they traded a lot. And as I've said before, and I'll say it again, this trader eats volatility. If you think you can outsmart 3 million lines of code, be my guest. It trades, and you'll see what it does, why it does it, but it doesn't stop. Its sole purpose, Mr. Barsano, I think you call it, all it is focused on is making money, making money. So let me give you an overview on the left-hand side. I started this March 25th, this simulation with these 4 coins, Bonk, Ondo, Pepe, and Whiff, and 1, 2, 3, all but Ondo are meme coins. So I didn't choose them for utility meme coins. I just simply employed the report, which I said we'll show you. I started the account with $100,000, and in that time period, it has taken a total profit in just a little bit of, what is it, 3 months and 2 weeks?
Yep.
So $28,000 in profit. In the last 30 days, it's made almost $4,500. I just turned on, I think it was 3.5 weeks ago. I went from not saving any and just rolling, some people would call it compounding, to saving 100% just to see what it would accumulate. For example, this provides an opportunity. I'm blessed. My family's blessed to provide a legacy, create the ability to create a financial legacy for my children's children. And so, if I saved 100% and we kind of decided to live off of these profits, then you can see for your own benefit what it does if you just save the profits. I won't steal Mr. Barsano's thunder, but he'll have a comment about the card that keeps on giving later. And then it shows as a reference point what Bitcoin is trading at. So if you look over here, these are the positions. I've already covered the symbols. In the parentheses, these are your open lots. Every time it buys a position, it adds to a lot. It sells when it goes up, and we'll give you more detail. It buys when it goes down, and it literally takes advantage of every single move on a microscopic level. It only has to go up 3%. It only has to go down 3% to be able to take advantage of this. Now, if you don't believe it, look, I've not looked at this other than just now, right? So it started taking profits while I was sleeping, right?
Right.
Three profits, and then all it's done is continue today until about an hour before we started. Prior to that, as if we look at today's the 10th, look at yesterday, all it did was take more profits, and it buys, sells, buys, sells, buys, sells. It doesn't stop. So I don't know what to tell you other than if you want to automate free money that falls into your bank account for no particular reason, and if you're not taking advantage, particularly at this moment in history when the adoption of crypto has never been higher. If you've watched the news, if you've not been under a rock, you know that this is the beginning of the beginning. This is like buying Microsoft at $10. And you don't have to spend hours and hours and weeks and months trying to trade and look at 50 screens and try and figure out what's going on in the market. And at best, even if you guess right, then the timing of getting in and out of the positions is critical. You don't have to worry about that. You're going to hear a lot more detail about how this works behind the scenes from the brilliance of the creator that created it. But here's an overview.
From
Numbers
the
don't lie.
brilliance, did you say the brilliance or the arrogance? The arrogance of
Brilliance. I would never call you arrogant, sir. You are one of the kindest people on the planet because
I'm
you have
sorry.
created
I hardly
something.
ever talk, but every time I talk, it's a joke.
Well, you've created something that benefits the masses. Did you know that 83% of the population in the US has no idea what crypto is? What a great time for them to understand what this
Yep.
marketplace is.
Awesome.
So with that, before I turn it back to you, Attila, would you mind, Casey, if I asked you a few questions?
Absolutely.
Okay.
I mean,
So we've known each other for a little bit over a year. We've become friends. Attila and I were looking for somebody to bring this product to market in a big way, and looked at a lot of people out in the marketplace that
wait,
are
can we pause? Because
sure.
what's interesting is I randomly, organically came across this in a non-crypto specific way. I have a friend not in crypto. He was at an event where Edward was attending and they got to talking. Edward mentioned that he had a background in blockchain. And my friend was like, hey, you should meet up with my friend Casey. She has a YouTube channel, so she teaches people about crypto. Cool. So I get in this, my friend's like, hey, you got to meet Edward. So I go meet Edward, and then Attila's there, and then they give me this whole spiel. I was not expecting anything. So I'm getting the spiel that you guys are getting, and I'm like, scam. But part of what I do is try out different products and services. And if they're good and they help us, then I'll talk about it on videos. If it's not, then I won't. So I actually bought it in January 2024, didn't tell them. I paid full price, the $4,500. And I reached back out to them in April and we were kind of talking about it. And that's whenever I got to meet Ed, the programmer that we will speak to soon. I had a lot of questions for him, which we'll go over what I had to ask. And I didn't make a video about it until August. So I used it for 8 months and very impressed. But yeah, that's how it came across. They didn't really reach out to me. It was completely organic and just unusual, honestly, because usually people are inundating me with messages or emails. So yeah, that's how I
But-
met them. All right, take over now.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
You jumped in front of a question, but good. I mean, we started to say, we were looking for somebody that could help us take us to market. And one of the things, actually several criteria that we're looking for was somebody that had the integrity that all of a sudden, poof, yep, you came to us by divine intervention. You have the utmost integrity. I learned so much about crypto through what you do. You're not like everybody else in the marketplace that's a pundit that is guaranteed that something's going up and something's going down. Excuse me, and something going sideways. You simply report and convey value to people, and totally blessed. We serendipitously it's funny to hear you say that our spiel trying to educate you on what this thing was, that your initial response was a scam, and you went away and you figured it out by yourself. So here we are today, a year-ish later, and I think if you look at the chat, anybody that owns this trader is hugely benefiting and is very, very thankful. And I'll read a couple of comments later. They're tear jerkers.
And let me jump and Ed, let me
but-
just jump in and say they're thrilled with the trader, even though the trader has never seen a bull market. How do you think they're going to feel in this upcoming bull market between now and the end of the year?
I don't know. I mean, it's having fun. As I said, the results that you're seeing in this that's on the screen now is in a sideways and really down market. Once I started this, at the point which I started, the market's down another 30%. So how is it defying gravity? It is. So let me quickly get to a couple of questions, and feel free to edit, not answer. You didn't know these are coming, but Casey, in your opinion, should GoBabyTrade be a part of everybody's investment DeFi strategy?
Yes, I think artificial intelligence should be used in any part of our life at this point. What's funny is, like, as you said, only 87% of people don't know what crypto is. I don't really have a lot of people that I personally know that are in crypto, but people that I do know in other industries like medicine, law, if you're not using AI, you're going to be left behind. Everything's changing extremely quickly, and especially in financial markets. I mean, big institutional players have been using data and a lot of sophisticated tools for a long time. And if we don't have this and we're just trying to do something on our own, we are the ones getting taken advantage of. So
You're
Yeah.
absolutely right. You're absolutely right. So I'll skip over number 2 because I was going to ask about your experience with the trader, but you gave us that answer. So in your experience, when you consider everything that this brings to the table, and I know a lot of people are chomping at the bit to see and hear the details from Ed, but this is a system that manages the money, so you never have to worry about it. Trades on your behalf and simply takes profits, because the platform is created and programmed to never sell at a loss. All it does is it collect inventory as the market drops, waiting for the next spike, which you see it right in front of you. There doesn't seem to be, in our experience, anything like it. You have obviously a much deeper experience in the marketplace. Is there anything that trades on your behalf that does what this thing does?
I haven't come across anything like it, honestly. It's very simple, straightforward. I think a lot of products and tools in finance are made to seem complicated so third parties can justify making money from ignorance or making you feel like you're not as smart as them or don't know as much as them. So no, I have like seen some YouTubers that I contact with. They mentioned some other stuff, but they were more so bots that help with leverage trading to mitigate liquidation risk, not just simply straightforward take profits. And also the data they're operating off of was more like a couple years old, whereas this one is, we'll talk about like more 25 years of data and algorithms. So no,
Right.
I haven't seen anything like this ever.
Well, good. I'm not an influencer. Attila's not an influencer. Ed Barsano's got 5 people on his Facebook page, right? I say
I
that
know, I
jokingly.
know. I'm not an
but,
influencer.
but it's so powerful for you to convey your experience because not a lot of people are trustworthy in the marketplace. And like I said, what the pundits that I follow are not about. They're more focused on telling stories about the sensationalism of the market going up and down and sideways, and they're sometimes outlandish predictions. And you are consistent since 2018 ish.
17.
17 was simply teaching people how to do it. So allowing us to expose to your audience something that they could. We're not holding a gun to anybody's head, but I don't think there's anything else in the marketplace that levels the playing field, particularly for somebody that wants to buy their time back. And I always say this is that what this has done for me is it's highly leveraged my ability to create a legacy for my 10-year-old and my wife and my other 2 children, where I don't have to pay attention to it. What it does for me, one of the most powerful things, because we can all figure out how to make money. I've made lots of money, lost lots of money, but what this manufactures for me is more time that I can spend with my family, that I can spend with my loved ones, that I can spend with my friends, Crypto Casey, Ed, and Attila. So with that, I'm going to turn it back over to you, Attila. Thank
Yeah.
you, Casey,
Yeah.
for answering those questions. I hope I didn't catch you too much off guard.
Nope, all good.
Thank you, Edward, and thank you, Casey. Kind of a funny question came in just a moment ago, and I didn't catch the gentleman's name because I don't have my glasses on, but I did see the question. It was something to the tune of, let me try that again with my tongue in my mouth. Is somebody going to show a trader with real numbers, meaning not simulation? Well, guess what?
Yep.
Guess what? The trader doesn't know whether it's in simulation or if it's trading for real. If that was Edward's live trader connect to his Coinbase, which he has another one, the results would be the same. It wouldn't be different just because it's paper trading. The trader doesn't know. So, but the person asking the question didn't know that. But to
Right.
us, it's a little bit kind of a funny question. But anyway, there's the answer.
You will.
So now we get to the nitty gritty, and let me change this angle a little bit because I have a lighting issue in this.
I thought that was very much of a legitimate question. In the world of fake traders and paper traders and back testing and all that, back testing and a lot of that stuff, that all works in other apps. But then when they go live, it doesn't work anymore all of a sudden when it becomes real. The
I've seen
difference
that.
with GoBabyTrade is the software is actually it's doing everything it thinks it's real. It's looking at real data, it's doing everything real, except when it goes to shoot the trade off, it says, "Oh wait, I'm paper trading." Okay, well, use the current price and say I just got filled at the current price, which is the same as if you were real, because that's what would happen. So that's why it's the same in the auto trader. What you get in paper trading is what you're going to get when you're live. So if you're paper trading when you first start, whatever you see, if you're happy with what you see, then flip it over live and let's get the show on the road. Start making some real money.
Yeah, somebody just said the trader paid for itself in 40 days. So there you go. But Ed, it's your show. Is there anything that I said in the beginning that I may have missed out on that you want to cover regarding the money management
man,
or
wow.
the AI?
Yeah, like 100 things, but I mean, there's like so much, that I mean, the auto trader is just rocks. If everybody doesn't have an auto trader, they are really behind, And the longer you don't have one, I talked to actually a gentleman that just signed up today, Brent. I don't know if Brent's on. He just signed up this morning, and he said he's been looking at the trader for a year before he signed up.
Oh boy.
And you know what he said? I should have signed up a year ago. I'm like, yeah, you missed a lot of money in the last
Well,
year.
well, we're happy to have you on board now. Congratulations.
Yeah,
Yeah.
welcome aboard, Brent. I didn't mean to call you out like that, but you know when you were talking to me that you know how I talk, so you knew I might not be nice. I don't know,
So,
but no, you missed. There was so much I wanted to say while you were talking, Attila, but I didn't want to cut you off. You know, because this is really like the Holy Grail. It's just going to crank out money forever, and it's not gambling at all. There's nothing in it that's gambling. And so,
well, didn't you say back in 2000 that was one of your inspirations where you wanted to create something where people didn't have to gamble and still have a legitimate chance of making money every
yeah,
day, every second day, every third day, right?
right. Well, what I saw in 2000 when I got hammered in the market, you know, and basically robbed, just like we all got robbed in the 2000 market crash. And it wasn't an accident or anything like that. What happened was very well orchestrated. The wealthy knew what they were doing. It was a beautiful scam, and they robbed all of us. You know, and I said, well, you picked on the wrong guy. I'm going to hurt you for that, you know, because I'm bored and I'm going to automate this market. You could look at any chart and see it's just numbers going up and down, and what it's missing is money management. And you know, so always be trading. Just like if you're a salesman, always be selling. But you know, always be. There's a Glenn Martin. What was that
Oh,
movie?
it's Glenn Gary, Glenn Ross.
Yeah, right. He said always be selling.
No, ABC, that was always be closing,
Always
Oh,
ABC.
be
always
closing.
be closing. All
Yeah,
right.
yeah. Oh,
All right. But you know, with us, with the robotic traders, it's always be trading. Always be buying, always be selling. Don't let the market intimidate you. I don't listen to any news. I listen, let me rephrase that. I listen to the news, I discount it. You even threw out a statement, Attila, you didn't hear yourself. Or you didn't think about it. How many of you caught this? Attila said, I think by the end of summer, Bitcoin is going to go to 150,000. I don't make predictions like that. I don't care what it does. I don't care if you say it's going to go to 500,000. It doesn't mean anything to me. I believe in real numbers. Hey, if it goes there, the auto trader is going to have a field day and take a lot of profit. And if it doesn't go there, we're still going to take a lot of profit just on the wiggles. I don't care
True.
where it goes. So
Yeah,
yeah,
you too, Ed. You as well as Crypto Casey, as I complimented her on her view of the market as simply providing education and value. You've put yourself in a situation, a very unique situation that you've created something that you don't care if the market goes up and down, as long as it goes up and down, as long as there's volatility, you're taking free money.
right. I started trading Alchemy Pay, ACH, you know, at 12 cents a share 3 years ago, right? In 21. And it commenced to drop all the way down to 1.5 cents. You got to be thinking this guy's got to be getting killed. I took 300,000 in profits on the wiggles while it was going up and down, while it was trending. It was on a long-term downtrend, but it had crazy up days along the way. Um, you know, the same thing with GRT, the graph. You know, I started trading that. You know, I just noticed it at $1 3 years ago. It's at 8 cents right now, and yet I'm killing it, you know, and these auto traders will continue to kill it. They can't stop you from taking money. So now it's sitting at the bottom. And those of you who you've been seeing all what's happening over the last 2 months. The market's been crashing. All right, you might as well call it a crash. These coins got cut in half. They went from like 5 cents to 2.5 cents or 2 cents. Alchemy Pay did. Other coins, GRT went from 33 cents to 8 cents. That's a huge drop. Shiba Inu went from 0.00033 to 0.0000011. That's a huge, what is that, a 75% drop? I mean, it's like this is the game they play. So the coins go down, and what do you think millions of people are doing while the coins are going down? Millions of people out there are dumping their shares at a loss. They're doing exactly what we all did wrong in the 2000 crash. When the market crashed and all the tech stocks went all the way down, people were dumping like crazy, getting margin calls and selling everything at the bottom. And who do you think was buying all the shares? You do realize every time you sell something, there's got to be a buyer on the other end, right? Think about that. Who's buying all these billions of shares everybody's selling? The rich. And they are loading up like crazy. They're buying hundreds of millions of dollars of each one of these coins. They are going to get rich beyond belief. This is going to be the mother of all paydays, man. You miss this one, then you've missed the big one. This is bigger than, like Attila said, this is bigger than the internet revolution. This is bigger than a tech revolution. This one here is really big. This one's got the banks running scared, man. They're afraid they're going to go out of business. You can walk into a bank and, and they don't, and you tell them you want to withdraw money to put in your Coinbase account, and they're going to rip into you right away and say, why, hey, do you know who else has access to your account and all that? And I'm like, why are you even talking to me about my crypto account? I want to just deposit, transfer money to my account. You're a bank. You're holding my money. Do what I said. When I go to the bank, they don't really grill me, because when I go in, they say, "Good morning, Mr. Barsano. How are you?" I say, "Hey, crypto's up. I'm up." I'm not bashful. So I mean, this is going to be the big one. There's not going to be a bigger payday than this one in our generation. And whether you're 20 years old or you're 70 or 80 years old, this is the one. I can't see. I don't know, Casey. You might think of something that might come along that you think might be bigger. AI is big, right?
I mean, crypto will go hand in hand with AI. I mean, I think I talked a little bit about this a few months ago in an AI video where AI can actually use crypto to do interesting financial things without a human interacting. So, I mean, yeah, it's going there. It's already here.
Right. It's already here and it's moving really super fast, yes. But how do you capitalize on that? Whereas the crypto market, that's ground zero, man. I mean, that's what do you call that? A zero-sum game or whatever? I don't know. I call it free money. The opportunity is right here, right now. And if you don't get on board right now, when this market takes off, it's going to take off big.
And you just
But
need exposure. And exposure is actually very simple to do, you know.
Hey,
what do
Ed,
you,
Ed,
well,
let me
what do you,
ask,
what does exposure mean?
Well, be in the market.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Well, like
You
I,
gotta
like I
be there.
said, 83%. I mean, Google it or ChatGPT, look it up. How many people in the US know anything or are involved in any way, shape, or form in crypto? 17%. That's crazy. Let me
And
know,
then and the,
let me
how
tell you
much
how
do those
crazy it
17
is.
how much do that 17% even know?
Right? No,
Barely nothing,
and if they've been in it and they know anything about it, a lot of people that bought, then there's still if they didn't panic and sell, that bought 3 or 4 or 5 years ago that are down 80 and 90% are kind of pissed right now. But if you've owned the trader for the past 4 years, when people see your account, but
We're no different. We're no different than the guy that bought and held 3 years ago and bought a whole bunch of crypto and is sitting on it right now. I'm still in the coins I bought back then. The difference is I didn't go all in. I let the software allocate the funds so that when it went lower, my trader was buying more at the lower prices and selling it off while it was going up and down. So I'm making actually 10 times more than someone, even if you held the coins all the way up here and you let it go all the way down here, and then when it goes all the way back up, you're going to just break even. And I've made, I don't know how many thousands of a percent I'm going to make by the time that thing goes all the way back up. Because remember this, while it's going down, my trader is becoming well seasoned. Remember, I coined that phrase, a well seasoned
Yep.
auto trader has a lot of inventory. Each one of these fingers is one lot, another lot, another lot, another lot. I'm holding all that inventory. So there's no gaps between the prices. So when the price even goes up 3%, my trader is always taking profit. And like a couple months ago, a Alchemy Pay on January 27th it went from 2.2 cents to 5.6 cents in 4 days. Think of all the inventory I had that all sold off.
And a
All that
profit.
inventory when the price went from there to there, all that inventory that I was holding between those from the bottom to from 2.2 to 5.6 cents, all sold off profitably. Whereas a buy and holder, you're just still sitting up here praying that it's ever going to go back there. A lot of people have already dumped all their shares. They people that were already buying holders out there, the coin prices just kept going lower and lower and lower, scaring them out because a lot of people stare at their account value. I never look at my account value. I'm not worried about that because that's a manipulative tool. That's the number one tool that is used against the public. They lower the coin prices, and when the coin prices go down, that brings your account value down. So you're in your mind, you're thinking, I'm losing money, even though you didn't sell the position at a loss. And then, of course, you have to worry about all your friends talking you out, telling you, get out, you're gonna lose, this isn't real, it's all a scam, and you're buying and you're drinking that Kool-Aid of what they're saying, and you start selling everything at a loss. I never sell at a loss. I'm sitting on a virtual fortune from from the top all the way down here to where these coins are down here. These coins can never go back up without giving me a fortune. I've already done the math. I'm going to make $50 million if we go back just to where we were a couple years ago. And in the meantime, they can't, I'm going to still, it may take me more than a couple years to make my 50 million, but I'm going to keep making it because the coins keep going up and down. Even at the bottom, they got to keep paying me forever.
That sounds like a really good
Just
number.
free money, huh?
Free
It's just
money.
free money. I don't know what else to call it.
Yeah. Hey, Ed, why don't you do this? I want to give Casey an opportunity to ask you some questions, but do you mind showing everybody first conceptually that the bucket in the well?
Oh,
Because
sure, I'll jump in.
yeah, and
That's a good one.
while you're bringing that up, I just want to say one thing. I've seen a couple questions come in, and a couple people are saying something about, can we try the trader first for a while to see if it works, folks? Time out.
We already know it works.
Listen to what you're saying. Listen to what you're asking. This has been working for 25 years. This is not something that just came out.
It's actually been working for a few thousand years, It's just it's just commerce. It's commerce. You have a 7-Eleven. You put product on the shelf and you sell it at a higher price. That's what an auto trader is. That's it. That's all it's doing. I mean, there's a lot of code behind it, a few million lines of code, and a lot of things that really fine tune the money management and all that. But basically, it's a 7-Eleven. You put product on the shelf. The people come in and buy it. Well, here you don't have to have bricks and mortar. You don't have to have a building. You don't have to stock the shelves. You don't have to have cashiers. You don't have to worry about people coming in and stealing your stuff, kids stealing candy and stuff. It buys the product. Look at each symbol as if it was a product. Ketchup, potato chips, Butterfingers, iodine. If I have a 7-Eleven, if you go to a 7-Eleven, there's going to be one small shelf of things like that, like iodine and Band-Aids and stuff like that. It's just a small shelf. A lot of times you have to ask for it. Like, where is that? I just can't seem to find that one little bitty shelf where you're storing that stuff. You know why? Because they don't sell a lot of that stuff. The stuff that they're selling is monster drinks. You notice that when you go to the coolers? All those monster drinks and water bottles and and potato chips and candy and all the fast moving stuff. And that's what the auto trader is. That's the products you want to put on your shelf. Bonk, Ondo, Pepe, Whiff, Alchemy Pay, Bitcoin. A lot of people love to trade Bitcoin. Actually, a lot of people trade Bitcoin. You'd be surprised. And the auto trader is gold for Bitcoin. Really, it dollar cost averages into there perfectly. And we're going to talk about that, buy and hold versus actually trading Bitcoin and selling it, letting it sell. Because there's a lot of people are making good money just letting it sell, not necessarily just holding it. But I like to talk about the bucket in the well the main reason is if you understand this concept, then you know that the auto trader is just going to keep giving you money for the rest of your life. This
Yep.
is all you have to understand. If you understand this and you believe it, because if you don't believe it, I really would like you to speak up because I want to hear where the flaw is in this. All right? So if it was water, and we all know what a well is, the bucket goes from the top to the bottom and gets the water. No dispute there. And then it goes all the way back up and dumps it out, right? And then it has to go all the way back down to get the water again. Then it has to go all the way back up to dump it out, okay? So I presented this to a whole room full of programs, AI developers, actually, very smart people, 80 of them. And I said, how much water can it pump in a lifetime if it has to go, if it goes all the way down and gets the water, goes back up and dumps it out? How much water can it pump in a lifetime if it keeps doing that? And they started throwing out a lot of crazy numbers, 1 million gallons, 1 billion gallons, 1 trillion gallons. Nobody in the, now I was watching, nobody in the room disputed that, right? That's great. So I said, well, let's look at the crypto market. All right, now what if the coin, if it doesn't have to go all the way down and it doesn't have to go all the way up to give you the money. What if it just goes down a little, buys, goes up a little and sells, goes down a little, it buys, goes up a little, it sells. And even if it goes lower, like hold that loser, hold that one that's underwater, the action is now down below. And we're going to keep buying and selling though down here. So I'm holding that one there. Who cares? Now I'm holding 2 of those. It's okay. Because now I'm going to trade down here in perpetuity. As long as with proper money management, the software knows how many shares or how much to buy at each time it buys. It reserves enough money to make sure that no matter how far down it goes, you can keep taking profits forever. And then if it makes a big jump up, and like say I'm 3 or 4 of these lots down, this inventory, and if it jumps up above those, it sells all those off again anyways. I said, how much money can that pump in a lifetime? And that's when the whole room went silent. And I heard one guy in the room, he goes, there's no way that could be real. I love it. I love it. That made my day. I just love it. Because there's no reason it's not real. It's real. It is real. And that's what this auto trader does. It's just going to take money for the rest of your life. It's not a gimmick. It's not a scam. It's doing commerce the way commerce has been done for thousands of years. You buy something, everybody out there selling something bought it at a lower price and they're selling it at a higher price. We're not violating laws here. We're not violating any rules. I sincerely feel like somehow we need to be stopped because it is free money. That's where the evil, that's where it's just crazy that this is legal, but we're not really doing anything illegal, really. And it's not even a hard concept, it's a lot of code though, other than the code. But I'm just saying though, it's automated and it's got AI built into it. We could talk about that, now it's designed to, how do I mean, what you just saw there was a very rudimentary way to do it. If anybody else was ever going to create an auto trader, this is about as far as they would go. They would say, fine, it went down, buy more, sell it when it went a little higher. Now, GoBabyTrade takes it a lot further than that. We add to we add to losers, we add to the software. When I say we, I mean the software. It adds to losers, but it also adds to winners while it's going up. So when a coin is going higher, it's actually buying more on the way up. A lot of you don't see that because you've set the profit goal equal to the adding. You're adding on 3% drops, but then you're selling on 3% gains. So you're not noticing something. But say you said I want to sell on 6% gains and I want to add on 3% drops. Now, when a coin drops 3%, it's going to buy, but then it's going to drop another 3% and buy again. When this bottom one, when it goes up 3% more from the bottom, it's going to buy again. So you're actually adding to a winner without selling. Then when it goes up another 3%, you're going to start selling the one you bought 6% lower. So it's, yeah, I mean, it's got crazy things built into the software to make you take more. Some of you, oh look, I made $13. Isn't that cute? Anyways, but
All right,
It's,
so clarify, this is a real live trader for anybody that had the questions before.
oh yeah,
This is not simulation.
right. Yeah, it says live trading. Here, if I look at I added something yesterday for everyone because I wanted to really help you understand something. Like ACH. I added this next estimated advancing trade. If the price goes like the current price is 2 cents, 0.020, right? If it goes to 5 cents, it's going to buy more. That's saying if it goes higher. If it goes down to 1.9 cents, that's lower.
Oh,
Adding to the, so now I show you the advancers and the decliners.
that is
I
great.
added this to help the especially to help with these people that are not selling their Bitcoin. You see, when you were closing all your positions profitably all the time, you didn't notice this stuff but when you're never closing your position, if you're just adding to the, as it's going lower and it's adding when it's going higher, I wanted you to see where it's going to add if it's going lower and where it's going to add when it goes higher. And you notice another thing I added here, I start telling you instead of just all open position rules passed, I tell you straight out, added to the decliner. That's
Look
the
at
same as
that.
all.
Perfect.
That's
Those
new.
two enhancements we knew nothing about, but
Sorry. And then here, look
But
at
that's
this one.
also news
Added.
to me.
How about added to gap? This is cool. You're gonna see this with your Bitcoin a lot because when it's what happens if you can see my fingers. I don't know. Does anybody? Are you guys able to see my fingers?
we
In my
can
little
see your
prop
fingers.
here? All right. My smart water prop. Um, This is why I drink smart water because it's the bottle. I like the shape of the bottle, so I could do this. But if I buy down here lower and say it gaps up, the price gaps up to here and I buy again, there's this no man's land in here. So, or if I bought it up here and then it dropped all the way down here and I bought more here, that's a better way to explain it. So it went up here. I mean, we bought it like we're gonna buy it at 109 or 113 now, probably. Anyone trading Bitcoin probably bought more now. When it drops, say it goes down to 107, and you have this no man's land in here, a big gap. If it goes between those two prices, it can add. And I don't, so you're not adding to the winner, I mean, on an advancer, because the advancer is way up here. It would have to go above your high. And to add to the decliner, it would have to go below your low, the lowest one. So what I added was added to gap. It's saying I'm filling in this gap here. And you're really filling in the gaps an important thing because especially if you don't own any positions in there, then you're almost like a buy and holder up here and it's just going up and down here. And so you really want to, the tighter you can squeeze the market, and that's what I'm all about, is squeeze that market. Don't let the market breathe without giving you money. That's what it's all about. Squeeze the market so that it can't even go up 3% without giving you money. It can't go down 3% without you buying more. You got them trapped. I actually automated a Forex years ago. FXCM was the exchange. And I automated it and I gave everybody the original software I had. Actually, you could trade Forex with it, right? And the exchange actually called me and said, you can't let your users trade that way. And I'm like, what? What are you talking about? Well, they have to sell the one that they bought at the top first. They can't sell the bottom one. They can't buy more at a lower price and then sell that one profitably. I said, why not? Because why would I sell the top one? I'm going to be selling at a loss. And what I discovered then is they're actually competing. I know some of you don't like to hear that stuff, but they were actually competing with the users, and they didn't want you guys to be having winners. And they were playing with the prices, pushing things down, trying to get you to sell that top one. But we weren't doing it. We were buying more when it went down. So it was. I learned a lot. I saw a lot of corruption in the market over the years. Just like the level 2 screens, I talk about that. I click. You don't have this. There's too much data to pass. For me to give you guys all this to be able to see it. But But the level 2 data is, it's critical. They, like, let me freeze the screen if I can ever get it to stop. Say you had 100,000 shares that you want to sell, and you're thinking the best price is this one here at the top, 205.83, right? The thing is, there's not this person here that says they're willing to buy. They don't want to or they don't want to buy it for. They only want to sell this many shares, and that's not 100,000 shares. So if you add up, you keep adding all the way down, or no, if you're selling, excuse me, I got it backwards. Yeah, if you're selling, you're thinking you're going to get this much, but if you're selling 100,000 shares, the price is going to drop like all the way down to here before it's going to add, the software adds that up. And then what you're going to discover is like here, the price you're only going to be getting 205.65, not 205.83. You're actually going to get a lot less than you think. Sometimes some people see the best bid. Here's the best ask, and here's the best bid. Highest bid, lowest ask. And you see that on your screen sometime, and you say, how come my auto trader's not taking that profit? It's like, because that's not really what you're going to get when you go to sell it. Or if you're buying, you're going to end up buying way up here, a much higher price than you realize based on the amount of shares. Sometimes these numbers don't even look really too bad. Sometimes you'll see 2 shares or 1 share at some of these prices. So it's just going to fly right through that price. There's no way you're going to get that fill.
Hey,
So
Ed,
Would you say the moral of the story is that if you don't have a tool as powerful as this, the market's stacked against you?
Oh, you don't have a prayer. You simply don't even have a prayer. I mean, the scamming that's going on with the numbers, the prices, the volume that they're playing with, the professional traders that set traps out there and you go to buy, and you're just, and all of a sudden you get some crazy fill, and you go, wow, what happened there? I mean, do you see that 48 shares went by down here a few seconds ago? If you look closely at these numbers, they change. This is how fast things change. I mean, so sometimes when you're looking for a certain price, you got to realize thousands of people. Look, there's 284 shares, 278 shares. I mean, you're not going to buy 278 shares of Alchemy Pay. Give me a break. You're going to buy in the thousands of shares. So these 51.8 shares, 53 shares, that's manipulated numbers being thrown out there just to mess. So you think the best prices are there, but really they're not. The best price on the bid side is much lower, and the best price on the ask side is much higher. So you can't go by
hey,
just what you're glancing at on the screen.
hey, Ed, do me a favor for simplicity's sake. Can you go over the light blue area on the left for everybody before we get to Casey? Because this is
Okay.
really interesting that you started this account for about $200,000 on
Yeah.
December 2021.
Right
And
when crypto winter started. I released an auto trader right when the crypto crash started. Now, what do you think I was thinking at the time? I just released an auto trader and the market's crashing. I thought it was a bad thing. I was thinking, oh man, I don't believe this. The market's going straight down and it's dropping like a rock. People, unless they see it taking profits right away, I don't know how long I can hold their attention. Because it's gonna be money for life, but a lot of people are just looking for, I want to see what it does in 3 days. It's like, wait, give it a chance. Because the profits you're taking here are going to keep adding up forever. They can't stop the money from coming. They can't stop this daily money that keeps flowing. And you notice look at these numbers. I'm going to go back to the left in a second, but look at $400, $197, $443, right, of profits. And you look here in the last few days, look at this junk. $13 and $10, $17. That just tells you the manipulation in the market. The prices, the way they're playing with the numbers, they're squeezing. We got the market squeezed so tight they can't breathe. And we're just, they're trying, I don't want to say we're at war with the market, but the market keeps trying to push the prices lower to scare you out. And the auto trader keeps taking profits to offset that drop. The difference is we can keep taking profits no matter where the price goes. They can only, every time they lower the price, they just keep lowering it lower. They can't raise that. If they go up, then they're not lowering it, they're raising it. And when they raise it, we take even more profits. So we got them in a box. And the only way they can scare you out is they got to keep lowering the price, and it's got to go down, 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 like it's done in the last 2 months. And a lot of people get discouraged because they're looking at their account value. Mind you, this account was at like 1.3 mil just a couple months ago. So it's down like what, 400 grand. Hey, it was down 500 grand last week. It recovered 100 grand. Cool. You know, so I'm just saying, they can't scare me. I don't care what they do, because I already know that either we have a crypto market or we don't. If we have one, I'm going to be rich. If we don't have one, fine, then you can rob me. But we have a crypto market, and therefore we're going to be rich.
So Ed, in a down market, in a 70 to 85% down market over the last 3.5 years, you started with 200K. You took 900. The trader took $935,000 of profit for you.
And it didn't take it all in big numbers, you know. And this
Right.
is the thing. It came in, you know. There's $42. If you just scroll down here in the lower right, and you can see the profits it takes on each trade. 42. Yep. Look, all that little money adds up, literally, to over $1 million. Just leave it alone. Some people feel like they've got to make too much. They want to make. I mean, everybody wants to just make 1,000% a month and all, and it's like, you don't need to make money like that. If you just make 8.5% a month, you're doing 100% profit a year. Where do you get an investment like that?
Yeah, hold on, Ed. Say that out loud again, because if you're in the crypto, Casey, I'm gonna coin one of your phrases. If you're in the scam of the current centralized banking system, what are they paying you? This, what, 8% is about what you make on your savings account?
Maybe in a year, not a month.
Well, not even a fraction in a year.
In a year.
People's perspective, you know, we've seen all kinds of comments, positive, mostly positive, particularly if you own as I said before, if you own the trader, then there's nothing negative to say, because it's just giving you free money. But, you know, people are going, well, it can't be real, because, you know, if it was real, then everybody would have it. If it was real, why would Mr. Barsano want to let anybody else know about it? Well, that's, I mean, from the bottom of your heart, and you know, Attila and I, and now Crypto Casey, know you personally, right? Your motive is to level the playing field so that people have a fighting chance, because it's literally, if you're not understanding the new world of digital finance, then you're completely lost. If you think that that being in centralized finance, as the bottom drops out, is where you want to be, that it's a scam. You're going to work 40, 50, 60, 70, 80 hours a week to show up to put money in something that the rug's going to be pulled out. Not if, but when. And I'll let Casey
out there just, if any all other investing or other trading going on out there, they're all either they're gambling, or they're just buying and holding and getting lucky and things, and hoping that things go up, you know. And they're not looking. The problem also, if you're just a buy and holder and you're just holding something, then you're not really generating income that you can use. Like, I have a MasterCard, a Coinbase MasterCard, that everywhere I go, that's what I use. And I call it the card that keeps on giving.
That's what I said before.
Every time I go to pay, I just stick it in there, and I look down, and like yesterday I went to where was it? Trader Joe's, and it was $150, $151, and I just stuck that card in there, and I thought to myself, the card that keeps on giving, because I can't spend what it brings in, you know. And because the auto trader's closing positions, it's generating actual money you can spend. It's not like just holding something and watching it go higher. because then still don't have anything you can spend without selling the coin. And if you're not selling the coin, you're not generating income that you can actually use day by day.
Right.
Yeah. Hey, Ed, I want to give Casey a shot at asking you what she wants to ask you. But first, I want to make sure everybody understands that Edward is going to be posting into the chat the Crypto Casey link that enables you all to get $1,000 discount on your 3-year license. When you click on that link, you're able to DYOR, that to do your own research. So Rick, you had some questions before. You want to do your own research, and you could click on videos, you could click on blogs, you could click on the highest trade counts, which Ed Barsano will go over in a little bit. You could click on the history of other traders. You could do a ton of research actually before you even pull the trigger to buy the trader and get that $1,000 discount. So we encourage all of you to do that, because that's just a great resource. In fact, Ed, if you don't mind bringing up just GoBabyTrade.com so people can see what we're talking about.
Yep.
Real quick.
I was just looking at all these wiggles. This is pure gold to an auto trader.
Yeah, let me make a comment. If you're new here, we've got a very large crowd. If this is the first time you're seeing and hearing all of this, pay close attention to the chat. I promise you, we have not asked anybody to say anything other than their true experiences. We've not paid anybody. We've not asked anybody to share their experiences. But you see, if you've been paying attention to the chat, those that own the trader are blessed and grateful.
Amen.
Right. But you see all these trades on the bottom here? You got buys and sells, buys and sells, buys and sells. That's how a 7-Eleven works. You put product on the shelf, you sell it, then you restock the shelf. You see, we don't want things to just go straight up. We don't make any, you don't want to just have it go straight up, because you're missing everything, and then you're buying everything at sky high prices. You sell your inventory on an up day, you buy more on a down day, and you just keep stocking the shelf just like they do in a regular store. When I go to stores like Trader Joe's, Whole Foods, just I can't even think of all the stores, Walmart, always look at the shelves. There should never be an empty shelf. If there's an empty shelf, it means the owner is not looking. Because the workers generally, they don't care if they leave an empty shelf, but I guarantee you, if you own that store, you don't want empty shelves. We're never out of inventory. We always, every coin, we always know it doesn't have to go very far to buy more. It doesn't have to go far it just has to drop a little bit to, from the current price, from 9 cents to 7.6 cents, it'll buy more. And if it goes up a little, it'll even buy more when it goes higher, because if it's going to take off, then I'm going to jump in there and ride it higher too. Anyways, we're going to go back and do what you asked me to do. Here's the website. And if you go to right here, if we go to, let me hide this. I got this bar on my screen, hide floating meeting controls. If I go to, here's where you're going to go. You're going to go to gobabytrade.com/CryptoCasey. There's the link.
Yep.
And you'll see it put a code up here so that it knows. So when you click buy now, it lowered the price, the regular price, from $44.99 to $34.
There you go.
And we sell 3-year licenses. We're not in the collections business. I used to, when I first released Auto Traders all the way back in 2001, I was giving them away free. I literally was giving away thousands of Auto Traders free, because the mission was conquer the market. We are going to conquer the market. The clients that were signing up were helping me. They were educating me, because what did I know about the market? In the 90s, I was in all the tech stocks. I didn't have to know anything, but I got killed in that crash when they all crashed, when they went down. So I had a lot to learn. I knew I was going to automate the market, but I knew it was all about money management, but I wanted to know what everybody else knows. So they were educating me. But then when TD Ameritrade called me in 2006 out of the blue and said, will you connect your auto trader to us? And you already know, some of you already have heard me say this before. I'm like, Why are you calling me? How do you even know me, man? I'm just word of mouth. I don't even advertise or anything. And his answer was very profound. I mean, I thought. He said, "You're real." And that's all I had to hear. I'm like, thank you. Now I know we're on the same page.
Mhm.
So I automated TD Ameritrade, and then thousands more clients came in. And at that point, I had to start hiring people for support and everything. So that's why there's a cost. The infrastructure of this and now I have racks of servers, and the cost associated is through the roof. That's why there's a cost. So anyways, but I used to give it away free. So, so what was I gonna say? We do 3-year licenses because it's a long-term game. It's because the market goes down 50% in a couple months. It's dragging your account down. It's You don't realize your auto trader is doing stuff for you. It's not just because it's not buying a bunch of crypto at the top right away, spending all your money, which a lot of people, you'd be surprised when they sign up. That's the very first question. And some of you probably can relate to that. When you first signed up, what was your first thought? How do I get this thing to use more of my money? And it's like, no, it's using your money. It's just not putting it all in the market at one time. You're reserving money. If you're building a 10-story building, you don't spend all the money on the building on the first floor. What about the other 9 floors? You got to plan ahead, and you got to allocate the funds, and you got to say, where am I headed? See, that's the beauty of it. A lot of people aren't looking at where are you going? Where are you going 3 years from now? Where are you going with all this investment? Do you want it to go up 1,000%? Yes, but the software will get you there. But you got to let it allocate the funds and do all the money management and do all the buying and the selling at the right times. And it's precision. Everything. I mean, this thing calculates to a fraction of a share in how many shares to buy at any given time. So it's very precise in
Yep.
what it's doing. It's not random. It's not just randomly buying stuff and selling it, and it's not being caught up in the hype of the market. Oh, today's an up day. I want to be all in. And people
Yep.
call me on those days, on big days when it's up, they go, I want all my money in. And I say, you do realize everything that we're selling on this beautiful up day was bought on down days before while it was down. So call me on a down day and tell me you want to be all in. They don't.
That's great, Ed. Now thank you for bringing that up, by the way. Let's give Crypto Casey a chance to pick your brain a little bit. Casey, I know that when you first met Ed, you had a bunch of questions for him, and maybe since then you've thought of a few others that you want to ask him. But why don't you and Ed have a
Um,
little interchange with whatever
all right.
you want to ask him?
Before we
Or
do,
yeah.
before we do that, Casey, I just want you to understand, you know 1,000 times more about this blockchain crypto stuff than I do. So try not to embarrass me.
Yeah, so compared to a lot of the questions that I'm seeing people have, mine were more technical
See?
and probably very boring, but they were things that I wanted to know before I felt comfortable talking about it because this is technological stuff in the financial market. And I don't know. I asked if the product was open source and if not, why? The code and everything.
Yeah, well, you wouldn't want to, if you saw my code, you'd have a heart attack. I mean, literally. Kind of like when I looked at Bill Gates's code when I first started at Microsoft, I'm like, dear Lord, programs like this. Yeah, I admit I violate a lot of the rules of programming. Um, but um, but no, there's no way I could make it open source. It wouldn't work the original robotic trader, really the better answer is this. My original trader had 10 screens. That was more of an open source nature. You could create any strategy you wanted, all different strategies. And what I discovered was when I always say there was 10 screens, let me follow it up with there were 10 screens of ways to blow yourself up. And that is when you let people just have at it and just be able to do anything, well, what are they going to do? How do they know what to do? because a lot of them are following all the old school methodologies that they were taught in some trading class, taught by people who don't even trade, and or taught by stuff they're reading in books. And we all know that that stuff doesn't work. It simply doesn't work. There's no magic indicator. You could sit and stare at indicators all day long. There's no magic indicator that will tell you what a coin is going to do the next day. And if anyone online here has that magic indicator, I'd love for you to share it with me, because I've talked to thousands of people. I've talked to algorithmic trading groups. I actually talked to one group, and I said, you need to change the name of your group from algorithmic trading group to algorithmic therapy group. And they didn't they didn't like
That's
that.
funny.
You know, because I said if I had a magic indicator that told me what a coin was going to do tomorrow, I'd be the richest person on the planet. And accept the fact that it doesn't exist. But you don't need it. What you need is proper money management, risk management. And so it's not open source. I could not I could never do that. I don't know how I would even share things. The infrastructure is so tight. You know, the ecosystem that my traders run in the co-location center has multiple auto trade or multiple programs running, feeding your auto trader. So your auto trader doesn't have anything to think about other than, am I profitable? Is it time to buy or is it time to sell? That's the one thing it's looking at. That's all it looks at. It doesn't have to generate numbers or calculations. The AI is actually a separate program, a separate system from GoBabyTrade. It could never fit inside the program. It's way too big, and it's got 25 years of data. Now that alone is, if the magnitude of that, I don't know if anybody ever thinks about the amount of data that is. Each robotic trader writes data to files. So your robotic trader is actually writing data to files that the AI is training on. So thousands of auto traders writing data every minute to files, and that AI running for 25 years, because I've been doing AI since '89, and I know how to do it intimately, and how to feed and train that AI system, so that it's got, anybody trying to create a new system today, like using ChatGPT or OpenAI or those open source systems, they don't have the data we have. And what I mean by that is their AI, their robotic, or their artificial intelligence can only know what it knows, and it doesn't know what it doesn't know. And if it's not getting data the way my trader, the AI I have, is feeding off data that is from the auto traders. So the auto traders know precisely how to use the answers coming back from the AI, because they're specifically geared to that auto trader. They're not for anything else. If I gave you the info, I could actually give you I could open source something, Casey, with the AI. I could actually have somebody subscribe to my AI and have it tell them minute by minute, constantly, is this coin a buy or a sell right now? Wouldn't do anybody else any good if they're not running an auto trader that knows how to deal with the answers it's given. Because if you just run out there and buy it, okay, you bought it. Now what? you know?
Yeah.
What are you going to do with that? You didn't know how many shares to buy. You didn't know, and you don't know when to sell it, and you don't know what to do with it. It could go down. It could drop 30% after the AI said buy it, then, but the software knows how to work with the AI to be able to benefit from that. Even if it did drop afterwards, it turns out to be a benefit because the auto trader knows how to capitalize on that decision.
Awesome.
Gotcha. So the other technical question I had, which kind of leads into this, was, since, it's not open, how, secure are the servers that handle the product? Are they backed up? What's the kind of
They
infrastructure
better
look like that we are relying on? You know what I'm saying?
Totally. people are depending, I've had so many people over the years tell me, Ed, I got my life savings in this. I'm really counting on you and all that stuff, and I'm there with you. I get it. I totally, and I'm confident I would never release something that I was worried that somebody's going to lose their life savings kind of stuff. But no, I've written all of our stuff, all of our backups. We have multiple levels of backups, and servers do crash. That's a routine thing. It's like just like light bulbs go out in your house, they go out. Hard drives crash, power supplies go out on servers. All of a sudden, the server will go down. And but then when that happens, the other servers automatically pick up any jobs that were running on that server automatically. That's just automatic. I'll get a message on my cell phone that said server 236 just crashed, and then the other servers will automatically pick up and run all those jobs. So we don't worry about any kind of I mean, our system runs in what they call an intranet. There's no access to the outside world. A hacker couldn't get in if they wanted to. I'm sitting here in my house. I can access my servers from here. If I walk out of the house, I cannot access those servers, from outside, without being right here. And so nobody could get in. And even if they got in, they'd only be in on a couple servers. Again, from those servers, they wouldn't have access to the rest of all the other servers. So, there's the security. I've been doing this for 25 years. I got a ransom attack many years ago, like back in 2000 and I think it was like 2007. One of those ransom attacks, where they encrypted all of the programs on your computer. And I laughed. I'm like, seriously. All right, so that because I read their little README thing that said, send us this much money, and I'm like, you're joking, right? All I did is format the hard drive. It didn't even mean anything because by then I already had failover clusters. Some of you may know what that is, where a server crashes, literally the database flips over to another database, a mirrored database. So yeah, I'm very, I sound more relaxed about all this stuff, don't I? Like, I'm just so like casual with it because 25 years is a lifetime. You weren't even born yet, were you, Casey?
No.
Yeah, come on.
No. Well, yes. I don't want to
Like
give
2
away my
years
age.
old. You realize you were probably like 2 years old when I started developing the software?
Possibly. No, but I did used to work at a software company, so I do understand like how the rollovers and fail safes and stuff are. So your servers are cool. You got your stuff under control. At the end of the day, there is an API with Kraken and Coinbase. So what kind of failures could they have that would compromise, this product for us? So
They
we're using.
do. They do. They do have problems. They have more problems than I have. You'd be surprised how many times data feeds stop, and I've got like multiple data feeds, for the data, and because Coinbase data could just shut off, and it'll be gone for a half hour, but the auto traders keep on trucking because there's more data feeds coming in, compensating for that missed data. Or they could go down where they're not filling orders, for a while, and it's like, come on, and the auto trader is just like, okay, well, we got to wait, but they're very good. They've been getting better way better than TD Ameritrade and some interactive brokers, MB Trading, Robinhood. When Robinhood first came out, they were a freaking disaster, but I was connected to them and so the brokers aren't as big as you think. A lot of them have real small development teams and but like us, over the years, my trader, everything's gotten more, more robust and there's less issues that they have less and less issues. Kraken had a hard time when in January 27th when Alchemy Pay shot up 150% in that 4 days. Kraken was taking like a half hour to do fills. Whereas Coinbase, I was amazed. I mean, they were filling 10,000 orders a minute. You know, I mean, it was crazy. I'm like, they're gonna crash, because I'm looking. I got other screens I look at, and I'm like, look at all those orders, man, going by. They're gonna, and they were filling them. Coinbase was filling them. They were like spot on. I'm like, yes. You know, but Kraken, I saw them lagging behind. I'm like, honestly, that order's been there for 15 minutes. Are they gonna fill this stuff or what? You know, but they got it all done. I mean, that was a very unusual day. It was, you know, most of us are trading the original coins that I've been trading for years. AC Alchemy Pay, the Graph, Shiba Inu, Dogecoin. So that meant almost every client owned those same coins. So when they shot up, and when Alchemy Pay shot up, every client was selling like 50 lots at once of profit. I mean, it was just insanity, you know. But they, again, I feel good about them. I feel good what they're, I feel good that, you know, I automated Alchemy or Coinbase and Kraken because they're US based exchanges. And I had seen, before I automated those two, I saw other exchanges around the world going under. And I was thinking, ah, man, I can't release an auto trader if the exchange is going to steal all the money, you know. So, you know, that's why I went with Coinbase and Kraken. I figured, oh, all right, two US based exchanges. Coinbase is on the NASDAQ. I'm like, they're a publicly traded company. I feel real good about these. And I don't even use cold storage. I know a lot of people do use cold storage. They like to. I had a cold storage device. I didn't like it. I had two for a backup just in case, and one of them quit working. I'm like, you're kidding me. You quit working. How do I log in? You know, so I went to the safe and pulled out my trade ledger backup. And as soon as it let me in, this is just before I automated the market. I bought some Shiba Inu and I had it on that cold storage device. And as soon as that second one, when I plugged in and I logged into that device, I right away transferred my sheep to Coinbase. I said, I'm afraid of those things, man. And that does bring me to one thing, if you don't mind me mentioning this. I know you already got another 14 questions lined up to grill me, so I'm gonna keep
Oh
talking.
no, I just have one more. You've actually covered a lot of the individual ones in your conversation right now. So
In my rambling.
yeah. See, I'm just scrolling through. I only have one more after this.
Oh, but what I was gonna say though is I did want to point out it's gonna be a good topic for you to actually for your clients, you know, for the people that listen to you a lot, because I really think a lot of the people, millions of people out there, really need severe help with, and that is, if anything happens to them, what happens to their crypto? Because what I've discovered, a lot of people have trouble even logging into their own Coinbase account, let alone their loved one. What is gonna happen to all these coins that everybody's got all these, and a lot of our clients have them too. You know, I'm like, and I try to tell them, you know, look, your wife has to be able to sit down in front of that computer and log into your Coinbase account and get access, because if anything happens to you, they're gonna go crazy. You know, because Coinbase, I don't know, they're willing to just dole out access to anybody that calls and say, hey, my husband left or whatever, died, or is in the hospital, I need access. They're not going to just dole out access. So that needs to be a high priority. And, you know, the
Yeah,
more
estate planning's been developing in this space. It's just it's a lot more complicated right now. Law is very slow, finance is very slow, but yeah, there's a lot of precautions.
So what's the last
speaking,
question?
oh wait, yeah, speaking of though, the last question I had, because we covered pretty much everything.
Mhm.
You have your stuff all, you know, good to go, but if something happened to you, what happens to us? The product, you know?
Is it your
That's
complexion?
another good question.
Yeah, is it my complexion? Do I look like I'm gonna die? You know, I mean, I'm in top physical condition. All right.
And you're only 27.
Yeah. You and I, Casey, we would have been in high school together.
Yeah.
But No, Steven, my son has been programming these auto traders for the last 15 years. And he is a master programmer. Seriously. I
Yep.
mean, he programs AI and everything. He's been programming this stuff since he was in high school. And and he really surprised me even. I mean, it all started when he was in high school and he had a problem with his laptop and with Windows, and I said, "Just format the hard drive, man, and start over, reinstall that operating system and everything." And he went and did that. Now, how many people do you know that could actually do that today, really? Format their hard drive on their laptop and reinstall it? So, so he actually did it, and since then, I mean, he's you know what I say nowadays is I worry more if anything happens to Stephen. Because he programs a lot of what I'm doing here too, and he's like, "Oh, I've been just doing what you're doing." I'm like, "Stephen, you have no idea. You are a genius. You don't know it." Sometimes we're sitting side by side programming, and I just sit back sometimes and I'm just looking, and I'm like, and looking at what he's doing, and I'm like, "Dear God, Steve, man." I mean, he knows AI inside and out, and a lot of my methods even go all the way back to the 80s and the 90s stuff I learned when I started programming AI in 89. I still use methods that I learned back then. He knows how to use a lot of the new stuff that's out there, and I'm like, wow, Steve, dear God, he knows a lot more than I do in a lot of areas. But
Sin-
he knows, I'm just saying, anything happens to me, you don't have to worry because he runs auto traders too. And as long as I'm running auto traders and then my investments are in these auto traders, everybody, all my whole family's in these auto traders, and friends and family, and we're all helping each other. This isn't, see, that's the thing. I think that's what makes GoBabyTrade different than other companies out there. There are companies trying to, I don't know what they're doing. Maybe they're trying to generate revenue. We're a club, and we set out all the way back in 2000. The mission was, we are going to conquer this market together. And believe me, I listen to everything everyone has to say. Some of you even know. I mean, the stuff I put on the screen, adding to the gaps and showing you guys, what does it need now to add to a winner? What does it need to add to a losing position? And I learn from everything. I mean,
By the way, Ed,
Casey,
there's been
oh,
some very positive comments coming in about the changes everybody saw tonight for the first time. Just so you know, a lot of positive feedback.
Well,
cool.
the feedback is, look, the market, as you just said, most companies are out there looking to just generate profits, as much profit as they can. They don't come at it from, I think I can collectively say we, the four of us, look at, not to exclude Stephen and everybody in your company, but I think we do look at it from how do we help the masses? Because if we're all in a better position, then we're all in a better position to serve other people, which is, that's my goal, is to serve others. That's Casey's goal, as I mentioned before, learning along the way. And if she's learning it and teaching, nobody said she had to teach anybody. She took it upon herself to do that. Ed, you have that same mentality.
Right.
Yeah, I can speak for Attila and myself. We have that same mentality. That there, do we want to sell licenses? Yes, but more importantly, we want to get to millions and millions and millions of people to give them an opportunity to pierce a hole in the scam of a system that they have been buffaloed into thinking that it's built for their benefit, because it's not. I mention all the time, and I'm not going to drag it too far down a rabbit hole. I served 32 years as a federal agent. I know what the Matrix is up to. I know the Matrix. And quite frankly, before I met you, Ed, and Attila and Casey, I was in the same position that 99% of the people out there are in. They believed that what the government was doing was built to help them. No. What's your favorite word, Casey?
Scam. I'm just kidding. I don't know. Is it?
There you go. There you go. That wasn't rehearsed, by the way, but yeah,
It was just a wild
I
guess.
am so over the moon. As a matter of fact, somebody commented, "Hey, we should be teaching our grandchildren how to access our Coinbase account, because they're the ones that are going to benefit, right?
Yeah.
You know, spiritually, you know,
That's what I always say.
I truly believe that my job is to build a legacy for my children's children. And Attila, what do you say about people's money?
I say most people work really, really hard, but you could only work so hard and so many hours, so your money ends up being unemployed. And what I say is, we have an obligation to ourselves, our family, our children, our children's children, to give our money a job. And the best job we could give our money is for it to make money on our money. And there's no better way to do that than with this autonomous trader. There just isn't. To make money while you sleep and give your money a job, and that job is real simple. Just keep making more money on your money. That's it.
And people ask all the time, what are the risks in this trader, right? Well, it's all market dependent. The world could come to an end. We could drop a bomb on somebody else, or anything can happen, right? There's no guarantee. But when you consider everything in the marketplace, look at, as Attila said at the beginning, look at what's being presented to you. This creates an unfair advantage for you to make money in your sleep. What are the inherent risks? That you mess with the settings. By the way, we've talked about the system.
These are the things that can go wrong.
Right.
These are, when you say, what are the risks? The risk is you.
Right,
No,
good,
go ahead.
pointed.
Now
And
continue
the
what you're
risk is
saying.
user error.
Right, the
Yeah,
risk is
thank
user
you.
error, right? Don't
I
change the
didn't mean
settings.
you, Edward. I
Don't
meant you, the
change.
people.
Right.
It's how it's the brainwashing that is out there,
Yeah.
or it's the manipulation that is out there that makes people look at the wrong thing. Like I said, staring at your account value is the worst thing, because that is the one tool that I'm going to say the wealthy have to scare you out. And the way they do that is so simply lower the price of the coin. They've discovered that. They've discovered that millions of people will sell their coins at a loss if we just lower the price of the coin, because then the account value goes down and they think they're losing. I get it all the time, where people say, again, I said this earlier, how do I make my trader make more money? It's like, me getting all huffy and anxious and, wanting to do things to make it make more money. It's like, that's not the answer, because the market is doing it, is manipulated. Ever since the crypto summit in the White House, when they had 25 of those guys, multi-millionaire crypto people holding all that crypto, and Trump says, I'm going to let you have carte blanche to remove the regulations that have been holding this crypto market back. Those guys, they want to get richer. They want to become billionaires if they're not already. So they're out there rewriting the rules. The Genius bill just got signed a couple of weeks ago. I mean, allowing banks to store crypto. That's because they got to try to help bring the banks on too. They don't want to just throw the banks away. We're not out here the crypto market doesn't want to end the banking industry. The banks do serve a role. Personally, I don't see what the role is. I
Yeah.
don't,
I want to see the bank.
unless I'm writing checks, I don't know what I need a bank for. But yet I have a bank account, all right? So we don't want to we don't want to get rid of the banks, all right? I mean, they're too entrenched and needed all around the world. Okay? Just like say payday loan places. You think that they actually serve a role? Payday loans, those places, helping people get from one paycheck to the next, going to a payday loan place. They're actually a role that serves millions of people. So we don't want to get rid of the banks. We need to help the banks be able to somehow, get a marriage in with the cryptos. Figure out how we can keep these banks in business, because really there is no banks. If the cryptos take off, all the money's coming out of the bank and it's going to go into the cryptos.
Well, I think with the Genius thing, the banks will be able to issue their own stable coins, and it'll create a lot of, competition between banks, which have the best incentives for interest, or how, their particular coins work, stuff like that. We'll see, it's coming.
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
to me,
And that's what we're counting on.
The simple grand shift in if you look at the history of finance all the way back to the barter system, right? Crypto provides the best opportunity to barter between you and I. You know what the biggest shift is that since, well, it's been longer than that, but 1913, when the Federal Reserve was created, it was created to take your money, to somehow convince you to give your money to the bank for free so that they can lend it out another 400 times on your dime, on your dime. Guess what? The giant shift is. Keep it stupid simple. The shift is now you are in control of your money. You are in control of your money, not the bank. You
Amen
get
to
to make
that.
the rules.
Right.
Hey, Edward,
Yep.
I gotta interrupt you because it's that time of the night when, and Casey, I'm assuming you did ask your last question, right?
That's correct. I just had a sign of good fortune though a couple weeks ago. This
Yeah.
little Bitcoin orange kitty showed up.
Oh.
Nice. I
No way.
think it means we're gonna be good.
and the kitty's name is Bitcoin?
No, his name is Felix. He's orange, like Bitcoin, you get
What a
it?
cutie. What a cutie
Yeah.
pie. I
That's
love
awesome.
cats.
But he's
That's
orange.
awesome.
Anyway, Ed, great news for you. I know you want to say something.
I'm dying to say one thing real fast, just to end that what we were just talking about. Since the crypto summit, the prices have been going straight down.
Mhm.
Now I have to analyze that. I'm like, why would the coin prices be going down when there's nothing but good news over the last 2 months? So the
Manipulation.
wealthy can load up at the bottom. And that's what they're doing. So when everybody or millions of people out there are dumping their shares because the prices are going down, 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 and their account values looks like it's going lower, the wealthy are loading up like crazy. And that gives me a sign, and I've been watching it for 25 years. I saw them do it in 2018 with the housing crash, or the bank crash, where they pushed the bank stocks down to $1 and then they rocketed the price to $50. They all got rich, and the little guy, of course, sold his bank stocks at $1, right? And they're doing the same thing with the cryptos. They're trying to get people out. And so the only a handful of people have all the money, and the rest of us just continue working our jobs. But
Yeah.
that doesn't work with the robotic trader, because we're loading up at the bottom too. But we're doing better than they are because they're just buying it and holding it. We're taking daily money off the wiggle still. So, and what encourages me the most is they've been doing this now for the last 3 years. The wealthy have been loading up like crazy, and they've actually loaded up a lot at much higher prices than where we're at today. I love it, because in order for them to get their money back, they got to run these coins up a few 100%. And when they do that, we're just going to make a fortune.
Yep. Well, with that, Ed, the great news is, and Casey, thank you so much for your questions to Ed. That was great. And it's interesting to think back, that was about a year and 4 or 5 months ago when you were actually asking Ed those questions, because we were all on the Zoom together when that happened. But boy, time flies.
Yeah.
Ed, time to take your jacket off, my friend.
No, not really. It's freezing in here. I'm not taking it off today.
Okay.
Anthony's been dying for you to take your jacket off.
All right.
Okay.
No,
So
one time he said we're gonna do the Q&A session. I said, all right, and I'm ready. I'm took off my jacket, and since then he wants me to take it off, even though it's freezing in this room.
well, I didn't know that.
No, it's all right. No,
Anyway, so Edward, do me a
this
favor
is
and
my favorite time though, the Q&A session.
oh, it's great. We have a lot of good questions now. Edward, I want you to read the questions, but let me just spit out a preemptive strike, so to speak, because we always have a question about taxes. And I just want to make sure that everybody understands that, like Edward said in the beginning, with disclosure, we're not financial advisors, we're not tax advisors, but when it comes to taxes, it's always a function of the exchange. That the trader has nothing to do with taxes. Ed Barsano is not spitting out a tax statement, believe me. That comes from your exchange. You do with that statement whatever you want to do with your CPA. So I just wanted to kind of cut that off at the pass, because we always get that same question. And there's probably 3 or 4 other ones I could preemptively answer, but let's not
Sure.
do it. Edward, I'll turn it over to you because you know I have a little challenge with the tech tonight, and
Yep, no
you'll grab
worries.
a few, I'll grab a few. So
Yeah,
let's
no
start.
worries. I'm actually going to cover a couple of comments, and then we'll jump into
Sure.
to the questions. And just so as an administrative piece of the puzzle, I've had folks asking for the link to purchase. I've put it in there a couple of times. That is Crypto Casey's dedicated link, which
Yep.
guarantees you the $1,000 off. And by the way, we talked multiple times. Ed mentioned this is a life trader. I truly believe it. And I'll give an example if there's time. I'll show you. I created an example because we always get questions about, well, if I'm paying $3,500, that's really, really expensive. Well, when you look at it, it really isn't. Give up a half a cup of Starbucks coffee a day to change your financial future and automate it. It's really not. Casey, I'm going to put you on the spot for a second. If you what is and you don't have to answer the question, what is your perceived value? Because early on in our relationship, when you had used it and you went, wow, this thing is not a scam, it really does work. You made a comment, you said, I think you said, why is this so inexpensive? But what is your perceived value if somebody had to go look at this and go, well, how much should it really cost?
Yes, I did say, why is it so cheap for 3 years? Why are you doing 3-year license? I mean,
Mhm.
that's a very subjective question I've never answered, but the amount of money that I kind of was putting in and getting out of it, I'd pay like 25K for it, honestly. But that's, I don't know.
All right, we're
It's
raising
a
the
lot of
price.
value.
Might have to-
I've been a year and a half now, and I have a
25K.
lot of I have a lot of really good friends that bought it too before I even made a video, and they've all been really happy and just as well. So I don't know. That's just
No, that's it. I understand. I know that was totally putting you on the spot, but I'll
I'm
bet
just being honest though.
yeah. Well, I bet you're now on your friend's permanent Christmas card list.
Well,
Oh yeah,
Edward,
everybody's very happy.
Well, the
Edward,
reason.
I'm
Oh, I'm
sorry.
sorry.
I'm sorry to interrupt, but Edward, you know what I've been saying about my statements to Ed Barsano over the years since I know him 13 years. Ed, I've been begging you all along to raise the price on this thing. It's way, way too inexpensive, in my opinion, for what it does. This is an integral part and should be an integral part of everybody's digital money revolution journey. So,
However, that's why I don't raise it. That's why I'm not raising it. Is because I want Joe Public.
yep.
I didn't create this for the millionaires out there. And you'd be surprised, a lot of people don't have $100 or $200,000. There are a lot of people with a few $1,000s, and I want them to be able to take advantage of this also. And there's a lot of younger people also that I really love it when younger people come on board, because I'd like them to learn how to grind money out, what I call free money, without having to gamble and risk and follow all that misinformation that's out there in all those other trading systems and all the scams. If you go to all these talking heads and you listen to all them, and it's like, just stop. I find flaws in everything they're saying. I mean, I could just go down just one word. Every word out of their mouth is a lie, or it's either they're lying or they don't know what they're talking about, and maybe they think they know, or maybe they believe in what they're saying, but it's all wrong. And I know it's wrong because I automated a lot of stuff that everyone was asking me to automate for the last 25 years. I did it. I automated it and proved to them that, look, this doesn't work. The stuff that they're telling you to do does not work. And you can
Yep.
see it firsthand that it did not work. That's why when I released GoBabyTrade in 2021, I said, we are no longer, I'm going to let the AI handle the 27 indicators for the pattern recognition. Get that out of my face. I don't want to look at it because you can't, it's perfect for AI because AI can really get it down to the 19th decimal place. It can really drill down on the pattern recognition. You can't do it visually. There's no way you could even look at 6 monitors and with 6 different indicators. What most people do is they look at the 6 monitors with a different indicator on each one, and they're looking for all the trends to be pointing in, all the indicators to be pointing in the same direction, either up or down. And then they say, all right, now based on just that visual, I could say that yes, the market's going to do this. You know, it's going to go up. But you know, the robotic trader or the AI that I have, I mean, it assigns percents to each one. Visually, you could look at those same indicators. When that AI is saying, I'm 98% sure that coin's going to go higher, if you looked at on the screens and looked at those indicators, the charts, they're not all pointing in the same direction, but yet the AI can tell you I'm 98%. I've seen this pattern before. I'm 98% sure it's going to go higher in the next couple minutes. So you can't try to do this stuff without the AI. So the stuff that they're telling you on, you know, all over the internet and everything is just so wrong. And I hate it when young people get caught up into that,
Yeah,
thinking they can beat the market. There's no such thing as beat the market. Just that phrase alone, beat the market, sounds like you're gambling. This isn't a sport. And this isn't Vegas. If you want to gamble, go to Vegas, put all your money on 00, spin the wheel one time, and pray that it wins. You get a 30-1 odds, I think it is. You know,
yeah.
that's the kind of stuff people think that this is. That's not what you do. If you're running a 7-Eleven, you're not putting $10,000 items on your shelf. You're not going to sell a $10,000 item. You want to sell ketchup? It sells for $4 a bottle. 7-Eleven makes 8 cents a bottle. That's all they make. But they sell a lot of ketchup, and they sell a lot of potato chips and a lot of cupcakes and all that stuff. The name of the game is keep turning inventory. Just keep filling up the shelf and selling, sell it, fill up the shelf again, sell it again. Just keep doing that. Keep turning inventory.
Right.
So I like it when young people come on board, and that's why I'm not raising the price. I really want a lot. I want to get more of the people that aren't super wealthy.
The masses.
Yep.
Right, because I
Yeah.
already have wealthy people that are mad at me because I won't set the max, allow the trader to trade with more than 2 million. So a guy with $5 million has to buy 3 auto traders. You know, it's like, hey, it is what it is, but I'm not going to raise it. I didn't create this for the wealthy. I created it for everyday people.
Yep.
Amen
Just
to
to
that.
clarify, I didn't tell him to raise the price. I wondered why it was set at that price, and Edward asked me what I think the perceived value
Yeah.
of it is, and I mean, I'm just trying to be honest. If something else was like this, and you know, JP Morgan had something like this, and they were selling it, we wouldn't be able to
Oh.
afford it.
You wouldn't
Right,
be able to.
right.
Yeah, they charge you
Well,
millions of dollars, right?
Oh, 1000%. Yeah. And
Yeah.
you only make it maybe like 8%, like per month.
Yeah, even
yeah,
that,
and
right? You're
they
Per
would
year.
they would rake all the rest. And yeah, thanks for
Exactly.
for that input, Casey. I didn't ask you that question. This is not a pump it up. I really truly I've never asked you that question before, and I think you're so right because I've asked that from people that have been trading in the market for a very very long time, and they look at this and go, first of all, it's the exact same pattern. They look at it and go, there's no way this could actually be real, and if it were real, then why isn't it 25 grand a year?
No, exactly. So it's funny, like me and a couple of my friends that bought it, we made the 3,500, or we bought it 4,500, made it back in 1 month, and we still had the 3-year license, and it's just ridiculous.
Yeah.
Kind of
So
like,
to make a
Not for sure I'm
clarification,
raising that price, by golly.
we're not this isn't oh, let's talk about it being $100,000 a month. Here's the generosity, and Mr. Barsano, let me please correct me if I'm wrong. I've asked you this question before, but we talk about it being a life trader, right? So people are like, well, wait a second, we pay $3,500 even at the discount. That seems kind of expensive. Well, look, do your own research, make your own choice of what's expensive and what's not expensive. If you stopped one coffee, half a cup, not even a cup, at $7, $3.19 a day is what this costs you to automate part of your financial future. And in a life trader situation, people are afraid they get to the end of the 3-year license and go, oh, wait a minute, hold on, you're gonna get me trapped into this thing, and I'm gonna be all happy making money, and then when it comes to renew, you're gonna charge me $10,000, $20,000, $30,000 for it.
That's the plan.
Well, that's the
I'm
stop.
kidding.
So
the exit strategy. I know.
so Mr. Barsano, has agreed to, and I don't think you've changed it since the last time we talked about it, that as long as you're in this family, in this community, and we're going to keep adding value. I'm not going to talk a whole bunch about the community assets we're going to build around this. You already have a crypto Casey that educates you. You have a trader that works forever for you. At the end of the 3-year license or the end of the 6-year license, 3 years plus 3 years plus 3 years, Mr. Barsano is not going to raise the price. So it's not a bait and switch. It's not a, oh, let's make all this money and then raise the price. It literally is. We are looking for ways every single day, and Attila and I are responsible for the support mechanism of this for Crypto Casey and to a certain extent for Mr. Barsano. And I'll put it in again. There are two support emails. If you have any questions or you need help getting, buying the license, getting it connected, most non-technical questions. As a matter of fact, I'm going to put it in now, and then I'll finish my thought and comment. Let me put these two in here again. For technical questions, please direct them to Mr. Barsano's team.
Okay, well, Edward, well, just
Right.
put it in the email. While you're doing that, I've got a few things coming in here. People are asking for a guaranteed ROI, okay? They're asking what the ROI is. Folks, I mentioned in the very beginning when I started speaking my part after Edward introduced me, and I said that we're going to mention the fact that everything is market dependent. We can't sit here and tell you the next month you should expect a 7% ROI, or in 3 months from now, we're anticipating a 12-month, a
No,
12% ROI.
there's
The
no time
trader,
frames on anything. You
the
know,
trade, let me just say this, the trader just flat out worked. I mean, this just rocks the house. It makes profits for, here's the 20-second explanation of what this is going to do for you. Very simple. 20-second elevator pitch. When the market goes up on your coins 3%, it's going to take a profit unless the AI kicks in and shows a 98% or 95% probability it's going to go higher. Then it'll take more profit. And when it goes down at least 3% or more based on that AI indicator I just mentioned, it's going to buy more at a lower price. That's it. That's your guarantee. It's going to be guaranteed to do that. It never sells at a loss. And all we have is 25 years of profits every day, every second day, every third day, every fourth day. Maybe I had one time, my trader did not take a profit for almost a week because the market was absolutely dead in the water. It bought some more
and
when
that's
it
rare.
went down.
Yep.
Okay, but please don't ask what the ROI is because it's all market dependent. It
Yep.
just flat out works. You could expect to make money, and you've seen plenty of documentation from others that do own the trader already, and
This
they're
isn't a hedge fund. This is not a hedge fund.
Yeah.
If it was a hedge fund, if I was running a hedge fund and you were going to give me your money and you were going to then I would go ahead and guarantee you some kind of an ROI. I
Now
would say,
that's
okay, I guarantee you, I'll give you 20% a year. Give me your money. I get to keep all the difference. And if it makes 100% a year, I get to keep the 80%. How do you like
right.
that? Would that be a nice ROI? Those are the kind of guarantees people want to get, but I'm not running an investment, a hedge fund. So, and that's what
Actually,
they do. Money market accounts, they're the same way. They want to give you these fixed returns, CDs. They'll give you 5% a year, and you got to lock up your money for a certain period of time to get those crummy returns. You want to have a chance to get 100% a year returns and even more, or even 50% returns, in a real crummy market. That's an auto trader. This thing's going to crank out money for the rest of your life. And
Miss,
until you do it, then there's nothing anybody can say to help you.
yeah, I mean, you
No
tell me
way.
what.
Until you jump on board and let the game begin, you're just not, what else can you do? That's why it's all word of mouth. That's what I love about, that's why I don't advertise or anything, because it's like, I love it because people share.
Yeah.
And it works. If it works for you and you're sharing it with others, that's what it's all about.
Also,
all
if you just
awesome. We
keep your
gotta-
cash at under your mattress or in a bank, it's just devaluing that's a risk. That's a guaranteed risk. Your money is devaluing if you
Right.
don't do anything with it.
Yeah.
Don't keep it under your mattress. Yeah, with that, I'm going to pile on your comment, Attila. Yeah, Ed, go back to your your trader dashboard.
Let me figure out how. Dear Lord.
Just go back to your
know,
GoBabyTrade. Scroll up where you are and just go back to your trader.
No, it's not as easy as you think. I'm gonna stop. If I stop sharing and then reshare,
All right, Ed, while
it'll.
while you're bringing it up, I'm gonna let you know that, Edward has posted the link for your $1,000 discount, and he's also posted in the chat a couple times the email addresses for support. If you have a basic question or you need help going live, I have videos under videos. When you click on Casey's link, there's a category that says videos. I've recorded 2 videos that shows how to go live to Coinbase, connect the API. The other one is for Kraken. And you could look at those if it still doesn't make sense, you need help, just email us. I could do a Zoom and help you go live. I've done it with others. That's not a problem. If it's a highly, highly, highly technical question, please just support@gobabytrade.com. It's in the chat. So go ahead, Ed. Edward.
I was gonna. See this? I just wanted to point out
Another edition.
Yeah. Well, I gave you the ability. This is new. It used to just say allow buy and allow sells, right? And you could turn off the selling, if you just wanted to accumulate. But now I I'm giving you the ability to add to decliners and add to advancers. Because some people don't want to add to advancers. They only want to add more when it's going down. So you could turn that off. By default, it's on. Before, when it used to just say allow buy and allow sell, the allow buy encompassed both of these.
Right.
Now I'm allowing you to break it out so that some people say, I don't want to add to advancers. I don't want to add. Some people might say, I don't want to add when it's going down. I only want to add more on up days. Okay, then turn off add to decliners. And it'll only add when things are going higher.
Very good. Go back to your dashboard. I want to address thank you. All right. So it will be 4 years, December 19th, right?
Yes.
Okay. Talk about ROI. We talked about it at the very beginning in the red. There's no guarantees on anything. But listen to this. When you turned it on, the bear market started. The crypto winter started. Some prices are down. Some prices are down 90%. 90%. Look at these numbers. He started with $200,000. It's taken almost $935,000 in profit in a 90% down market.
And you can see the profits.
Right. But
all these profits right here are just all down here. If you you can just add up these small numbers.
My point being, though, is that in a 90% down market, he's made how many X's money? It's not just his account. There are reports in here that you have access to before you even buy, and you can see what people are making. This is no joke.
Wait, you can go to the website and click on the top traders and just see how they're doing, and in the last year.
These are real live random accounts. So what's happened in the past 3.5 and change years is not indicative of a guarantee of what's going to happen in the future, but 90% down market.
The future is going to be a lot better because the coins are already sitting at the bottom, so they can't go from the top to the bottom anymore. They're already at the bottom.
Right. Let me get this out, and we'll move into questions. Okay. 90% down market. 90% down market. You have nothing to do other than connect it to your Coinbase or Kraken account and fund your account. This is never seen. These kind of returns in a bear market. But scratch your head because it doesn't exist anywhere else. It's never seen a bull market. God knows what it's going to do in a bull market. But I can tell you, It'll
I know what it's
perform
gonna do.
likely better than a bear market. If you're not employing the strategy or at least doing your homework to get to a yes or a no, you're doing yourself a disservice.
Well, here's what it's gonna do. Look at January 27th when ACH took off. All these closes and opens and closes. And here, this is all January 27th, all on the same day. Look at all those. While ACH was going up, it actually pulled back some, so it was adding more. So the software was actually buying more while it was busy selling off all that inventory. And here, this is still January 27th, the same day. Here again, a whole nother screen, another whole day of January 27th. And then we go into January 28th, and it continued on. The rally continued. The 29th. I mean, ACH went up 150% from 2 cents to 5.6 cents. Look at all that, just free money. So it's really, don't worry about when things are going down, you're thinking, oh man, my account value is going down, but you're accumulating all that inventory. You are doing what I call a well-seasoned auto trader has a lot of inventory. Like a new person signs up today, you see this 17 lots that ACH is sitting on, or 43 lots that GRT is sitting on? That's 43 buys on the way down. Even though it was buying and selling and I was still taking all this profit, it was accumulating all that inventory like the bucket in the well. The bucket's all the way near the bottom and it's holding all that inventory. But then when it starts going back up, we have a killing. And we're making money even while it's at the bottom anyways.
Right.
And the biggest money, now the new people coming on board, you only got one lot of each of these. Brent, you're an example, you just signed up this morning. And so you only have one lot of each of these. So if a coin jumps 20%, you've got one lot that you're going to sell off 20% higher. That's nice. However, if ACH jumps 20%, I'm going to have like 10 lots that are going to sell off all at once. It's going to be like 10, 20% moves for me. And for you, it's 120% move. Oh, well, so when you first come on board, you actually want to see a lot of down days. Your mission is to get a well-seasoned auto trader, you need a lot of inventory. And the way to get inventory is you're either adding to winners and adding to losers, but you're building inventory. And that's what it's about.
Yep.
And Anthony,
ahead.
remind me,
software does that.
we're gonna switch to Q&A right now, but Anthony reminded me, what is your favorite phrase, Ed?
My favorite phrase.
You were just talking about what happens when you're adding to inventory. Okay, you got all these people chiming in the chat about your favorite. It's down is good.
Oh, well, I got a lot of favorite phrases, I talk all day.
keep it clean. Keep it clean.
Go ahead, Edward. We got to get to
No,
the
you're
Q&A,
right.
buddy.
Down is good. Now that alone, just that simple phrase, down is good, you would go crazy. I mean, if you're a therapist, you would have a field day. If you were Freud, you'd have a field day with society just on that one phrase alone. Because just to educate people on that alone is almost impossible. And that's the thing is, because the problem is, if you try to talk it, like, we don't use stop losses. So that means, because I call a stop loss lock-in loss. You bought it here, it went down, and you sell it, you just locked in that loss. You didn't stop a loss. You can't stop what didn't happen. You don't even know if it's going to happen. You don't know if it's going to go down lower. So you just locked in a loss. So I presented to audiences all over the country, and I just remember one time, I was saying I don't use a stop loss, and I heard somebody in the audience go, "That's like catching a falling knife." It's like, there you go. Who told you that cliche? I'm like, stop with the cliches. There's nothing wrong with adding on a lower price. As a matter of fact, I can give you a quick and dirty example at Microsoft back in '88. We already blew away the street 3 months before the end of the quarter. I mean, or 2 months before. So 1 month into the quarter, for the quarterly earnings, we already beat what they expected to get for the whole quarter. So what do you think they did? And I learned this too firsthand, just listening to the people in the finance department. And they stopped all the specials in at from CompUSA and Circuit City and Best Buy and all those stores. They stopped all the specials in those stores because they weren't eager to sell more. They already beat the street 2 months in advance. So you don't, that's so. So where was I going with that? I mean, if you already, yeah, sorry, I lost.
All right.
But
First
damn it,
question.
that's terrible that I can't remember. I'll probably remember while we're talking.
It's all right. You can jump back in. Freedy says, "Yo, Casey, you moved it a day, and I have to go to an appointment. So I'll see you in the replay after this." Yes, sorry for the confusion, but we got a lot of people that jumped in. Okay, Ed, this is your question. When, in your opinion, is a good time to release profits saved?
Well, I do it in two ways, like I get eager and I want to release are you telling, there it is. Can you see you can see my trader.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what happens here is, like, we're having all these good days lately, right? And so I feel like I've got 100. As a matter of fact, it was just like, I think a week ago. Here's the history. There it is. So like right here on July 4th, I released this 20,000. I had 127,000 in my save bucket. I released 20,000 to the trader. And then since then it made a couple thousand back because I was only at 107,000 and saved. Now I've got 109,000.
Yeah, so the general rule is when the market's going up, you
7.4.
want to
Well,
release
if you feel like releasing money, I mean, it's your money. Go out and buy a new car if you want, the auto trader's job is to make money. Your job is to spend it however in any way you want.
good.
But I like to have a big bucket of saved money, and just because for life, for emergencies or whatever, if I lose, I break my cell phone, I don't even have to worry about buying another one. If anything, my car break, I decided to go out and buy a new car a few months ago, and I went and just took it out of cash, a couple $100,000, boom, don't even care, because it's just the auto trader's just going to keep putting it back in there. And I know people who live off this money every month, and I know people that make a couple thousand a month and they take it out of the account completely and live on it. And the auto trader just puts it right back in. That's better than having $100,000 in a savings account and every month taking 2,000 out of it and living on it, and then your savings is just going away.
Right.
And
Yep.
whereas with this, it keeps putting it right back in. And it's not magic. I mean, it's almost it's the craziest thing, isn't it? The way it just it's like it's free money. And again, that alone, again, that would be another therapy session, for people, because they're the denial. And that's why I'm happy to have thousands of clients and not millions of clients. I'll never have millions of clients because that means you would actually be able to deprogram everybody in the world, and it's not possible.
Well,
Well, those
the governments and these big institutions, companies, they get free money, but nobody likes to really consider and think about the fact that that's how they get money and we have to work for it.
Right. Yeah,
They
you're
get
right.
bailed out even if they mismanage their money.
Yeah, right. Just like when FTX went under in the Bahamas, here's a foreign exchange goes under, and we're having congressional hearings. It's like, why? I mean, if I go and invest in some foreign exchange and the exchange goes under and steals my money, nobody cares. But if a millionaire does it, if a guy lost 30 million, oh, we have to have congressional hearings and get to the bottom of this. I thought it's hilarious.
all right. So, Reese, do you find users do better with say 2 to 4 coins or 5 plus using that magic list. Of course, that's the $1 billion report. So Ed, what's the optimal number of
Clearly.
coins?
3 to 5 is the magic number for me. If we go and look at the highest trade count report, I like to look at this. If we just click on any, I'm going to start from the bottom because the way the screen works. Yeah, great. I started from the bottom and it went down. So this guy's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 coins. If I go to the one above it, 4 coins. 4 coins. Now this one has more, but look what they are. Bonk, Jasmy, Ondo, Pepe, Spa, Swift, Whiff. These are all the top coins from the highest trade count report, from this report, right off the top of this list. Out of like the top 10 or 15 coins, he grabbed 8 of them. But that's rare. That's too many. What happens when you have that many, look at how he's spreading his money apart, 10%, 15%. You know, he's dividing his money up. If you're only trading with like 3, 4 coins, you have 25% of your money goes into each coin. This one, again, too many coins because 11% of his money per coin. So, you know, I mean, I know a guy that trades with 50 coins. He's got 2% per coin. He's trading all day long. He's not making any money because he just doesn't have enough. And then when these coins make a big jump, he doesn't really have very much in him because he's divided his money up too much. 6 coins, 5 coins, and what's this one? This guy closed all of his positions, probably all profitable here because he's all the way up here. Took 20 grand profit. Yeah, he probably said, I'm cashing out. I mean, he didn't cash out his money. He just cashed out his coins. This guy's only trading with 1 coin. See, now that your number, for a while there, we had another coin. Alchemy Pay was the number 1. And the number 1, let's see what this one is. The number 1 guy up here had, for a long time, was trading only 1 coin. ACH, he had 100% of his money in that 1 coin. This one's divided, you know, 35% in that coin, 35 there, and 30 there. So he has a lot of money invested in that coin. I like that. And look what he's doing, because he's doing something, see, I didn't think of, and more people are educating me. He raised his profit goal to 5%. This is something that I've been talking to other people about. And he set his add to position on 3% drops. So he said, every time I'm closing a position, I've already got another one that's almost profitable. So he closes up one that's up 5, but the other one that he bought while it was down 3, you know, when it was down 3, came up 3, and he was 3. So he's already 3%. By the time that one went up 5, the next one's already going to be up 3. Something like that. So he's always looking at positive numbers. He's always got profits in the wings that are already ready to take any time. That's an interesting thing. Usually I have 3% and 3% is the default. But that's something to think about. See, some people are, you know, you can tweak these numbers a little bit. I'd be careful about changing the bottom number, this one here, the 3% on the add, because that goes in conjunction with the max lots to allow. If you're adding on 3% drops, 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21, all the way, do that 25 times, that's going to cover you all the way down to a 75% drop. That's what I call my trading window. As long as the coin stays within that 75% window from where you first went in all the way down 75%, this means you can trade it in perpetuity. That's just free money for life, literally, as long as it stays within inside that window. Now, should it drop below the 75% window, that means all your money would have been allocated at that point, in the 75% window. Now, you could raise this 25 to 30. 3 times 30 gives you a 90% window. That increases your trading window from 75% to 90. Gives you that 15% extra. And that's where your saved profits comes in. You can release money at that time to allow the auto trader to use that extra money down at the bottom.
All right, cool. Dan,
That
Dan,
helps.
sorry, Ed.
No, I hope that helps. The smaller the number of coins, the better, really.
Yep. Yep.
especially if they're good coins.
Yeah, particularly if you're picking from the $1 billion report. So
Right.
Dan asks, where does GoBabyTrade store my saved profits in my Coinbase or Kraken account? How does GoBabyTrade know how to use the saved profits so I stay in the green? So I can answer that one. That is, again, just to reiterate, the system never sells at a loss. All the profits, it only has the authority to send buy and sell signals, period. That's it. It doesn't do anything with your money. Your money, let's just use the example of Coinbase. Your money stays in Coinbase. If you say save profits, then it makes those save profits, whatever that number is that continues to grow as you take profits, it makes it invisible to the trader. So the trader will not reincorporate that or reinvest it or compound it back in until which time you change the strategy of your saved profits.
So your profits are part of your account value already. They're already in there because that's at the exchange. Your profits are also sitting in your USD or your USDC, whichever one you're trading with. If you're at Kraken, it has to be USD. So all your profits are in there. Now in the auto trader, it's just a number. The auto trader says, I see this much is this amount is profits. So it subtracts that from your cash when it's making decisions on how much cash it has to use. It says I've got 100. In my case, it says I've got, however much, a few 100,000 of cash, and then it subtracts out this 109,000 from it. So out of the 300,000 of cash, it subtracts out that 100,000, and so it says now I only have 200,000 to work with.
Right. Okay. Casey, here's a question for you. Dan's asking, Crypto Casey, can you please add a GoBabyTrade Discord channel community so paid customers can help each other?
Yes, I think Edward, Attila, we were all talking about doing that anyways.
Yep, and we're working on it. But
Yeah.
wanted you to know. So everybody that becomes a part of the GoBabyTrade Crypto Casey community family, we are working on a very structured, but just a community to start with not a whole lot of bells and whistles, just so we can get everybody connected. It's a great idea. I've been teasing that we're putting together a private community. We are. Give us another couple of months. I think I said 60 days on our last, but we're gonna do that. So and then of course Crypto Casey can get in and chime in and help where she wants, but and have access to those that have join the community. So yes, great question, Dan. We will be doing that. And if you've registered, certainly if you bought, we'll be announcing it to everybody that's ever registered. But particularly those that have bought, we'll give you the opportunity to get in first. There's probably going to be some incentives. No guarantees, but just hold on to your hat. Be patient. It's going to be a great time, and we are going to make sure that you have the opportunity, because power in the community is what we're looking for, so that those that have been in it, as you can see in the chat, lots and lots, as Attila said, positive comments of those people that can assist unbiasedly, answer questions, and interact. So stay tuned. Bradford, do you recommend adding only on a downtrend, only on an uptrend, or adding on both uptrends and downtrends mathematically, which is the best strategy? So I was going to answer the question, but go ahead.
Oh, go ahead.
No, I just you know,
never used to have the choice. You either said buy, and then the auto trader automatically added to winners and losers.
right.
But now I gave you the choice. But personally, I would do both.
Yeah, and so my answer is even more simple than that. The strategy, 50 years of programming experience, 25 years of auto traders, both in the stock and now in crypto, and the stock is still available, just not as volatile. The system's been proven. So we talked about, is there some test? No, there's no test. 25 years of proven success, never selling at a loss, with very, very high profit percentage. There let it's been boiled down to, this is what I'm trying to get to, and I'm stammering for my words, is that the strategy has been continued to be refined on a daily basis. You saw it as we saw it. There's 3 or 4 things that are in the trader now that weren't here last week. In the background, another thing you don't have to worry about is Ed and his team are always looking for ways to improve the strategy, but it's been proven, period. Don't move the settings. I've had a couple of now friends and family that have tried to outsmart the 3 million lines of code and found that it probably wasn't the right thing to do. Just let it do it. It's all set. There's 1 page. There's 3/4 of a page of things that are preset for you. Buy the trader. If you need help connecting it, fund it, let it go. Go enjoy your life. As I told you, the biggest benefit to me is it bought back time that I can spend with my family. There's no greater value.
Edward, it just something just popped in my head as an example, and maybe it's not that great of an example, but one day in the near future, we are going to have cars that are fully autonomous that drive themselves, and we're going to be in the back seat of those cars, and many of us are going to be saying, "Should I be should I be steering? Oh, should I be hitting the brake? Should I be hitting the gas? Should I be hitting the horn? Should I?" No, you should be shutting up and sitting in the back seat and let the car drive itself.
Yeah,
Well,
but driving is one of the greatest pleasures of life. I love driving. I love it. It's so much fun.
Well, when you got that beautiful big rig that you have, of course you love driving. But anyway, the same thing applies here. Okay? Just let the trader drive. This has 25 years of
Yeah.
proven you don't need to do anything. Buy
There's
the
no
license.
question. It's the Holy Grail, is what it is. It
I
really is
mean-
the Holy Grail of traders, and nobody's ever done what I've done. And you got to
No.
understand why they haven't. Because number one, they got to know how to make money in the market in the first place. If you can't make money manually, then you sure can't make it automatically if you're the one writing the program, because you're going to automate all the stuff that makes you lose money. When I created the first system and I had 10 screens of things, people were automating all the stuff that they were doing manually and losing. So then now they got an auto trader automatically losing. That's why I got rid of it. I sold that company off, got rid of all those screens, and I said, we're not going to chase all these indicators and crazy settings and strategies. I said, we're just going to chase money directly. I'm gonna stick it to the market. I am literally going to attach myself to each company, ACH. When you buy that coin, you've attached yourself to the company. It almost feels like it shouldn't even be legal, because every time they try to move their price a little bit, they got to pay you.
Somebody's got to pay you.
I gotta get. Hey, you rich people want to jerk around with the market and play all these games with the prices? Be my guest, because you want to go all the way down there. I'm gonna be like the opposite of Hillary Clinton when she said, "When they go low, we'll go high." I say, "Hey, when you go low, I'll go low, and when you go high, I'll go high."
Mr.
I'm gonna follow that money wherever it goes, and you're gonna keep paying me. No more free ride for anybody out there, man. You rich people want to play around with the numbers, then pay me too.
Forever.
Right.
So, Mr. Barsano, I need to ask you to give proper credit to a quote that you said. So, I recently remember watching a video, and maybe it was Crypto Casey that said what you said.
What did I
Crypto
say?
Casey.
What did I
would you like
say?
to- Yes, that you said in
You know
your
what I mean?
video.
He puts
In the
you on
recent video?
No. Actually, when you were first excited about it going, your video. So I'm not calling you out, but in your video, you said this system was
I don't.
the holy grail
I
of
don't.
trading.
Well,
See,
you guys have been using it, so then I felt like but
You
I
already
think
did.
I was the first one to say this is the holy grail of trading. But you guys have dropped that word like 5 times, so
Yeah, well, and that's why I needed to make sure that you got proper credit. So,
Ah, thanks.
Right,
All
that
right.
is true. You did coin that phrase. And then I stole it from you.
That's all
I
good.
put my name
All right,
under it.
good. All right. Rich says, with a 5K account, how long do you expect to recoup the cost of the service? Again, it's market dependent, but at the end, if we have time, I have an example of exactly that. Buying the license, starting with $5,000, and you will be blown away as to what it looks like over time. By 3 year, 6 year, and 9 year, I'll show that example. So stay tuned. Excuse me. Okay,
February
Anthony.
last
Part,
February last year was a perfect example of the answer to that question. We never know when it's going to happen, when things are going to pop. But February last year, a guy, if you had $33,000 account in January of last year, by March, which is right after February, because February coins just rocketed. If you look at your history, that $33,000 account turned into a $69,000 account in 1 month. So there's no way for us to answer that question that you're asking about the $5,000. I don't know, and we've only been in a down market for the last 3.5 years. So when this market turns up and you've accumulated all that inventory, you start selling it all off, that 5,000 can turn into 30,000. I don't know. We're all in uncharted waters there.
The better.
But we do know
Let
that
me-
the auto trader is going to keep taking money every day.
if you think about it, and obviously I'm being a little facetious here, but instead of trying to find out how long it takes time to recoup your money or what the ROI is, the real question needs to be asked of your banker, saying, go into your bank and say, how many of you have ever gone into your bank and say, how come you haven't paid me any money, virtually no money in the last 30 years I've been banking?
That's a good question. You're sitting there with $100,000 in the bank. I want you to go to the bank and ask them how long it's going to be before you make another 100,000. How long before they double my money? They will laugh you out of the bank. They will laugh you out of the bank. If you even said how long before, they're going to give you you open up a bank account, they want to give you a $300 bonus or something. It's like, don't throw me these peanuts, all right? But people, just compare for $3,500 for a 3-year license. What you're gonna learn in the next 3 years, you could never pay only $3,500 for that. Seriously, you're gonna learn more running this auto trader, even if you ran it in paper trade mode and never went live. What you're gonna learn is gonna change your life forever. That you can't pay for that. To really see an auto trader crank out money all by itself for the rest of your life, there's no price to put on that. And
Yeah,
believe me, Warren Buffett and all those guys, multi-billionaires, would be all over this software if I would allow them to trade it with if I'm willing to raise that price. But they probably don't even know I exist anyways. You know why? Because they already got all their other stuff going on. Warren Buffett, he bought Gillette for 2 cents in the 40s. We got to keep hearing about how he got rich, Yeah, well, if I bought Gillette for 2 cents in the 40s, I'd be as rich as he is too. But that buy and hold method is gone. That's dead. That's old. That's the old way of thinking. Because the problem with buy and hold is prices don't keep going up. They come every few years, they bring the price all the way down and you lose everything. And then you got to start over again.
let me ask a value question. So the average household spends over $200 a month on cable and Netflix and all that kind of stuff. So what's more valuable? Something that costs $97 a month that pays you for a lifetime, or watching TV for $200 a month?
Now, I don't know. That's a close one.
Well, I vote for $97.
Now let's get back to the Q&A, Edward.
Yep. Let's see. Cindy, someone just asked me how much I put in the trader. I remember my first deposit, but not sure how to find out exactly how much more I added. How do I do that?
Oh, let me answer that. Real simple. You look at your history of your transactions in either Coinbase or Kraken, because you're not adding money to the trader, you're adding money to your Coinbase. The trader will pick up and see you've added money. So if you go to transaction history under your exchange, whether it's Kraken or Coinbase, that's where you see how much money you've added to your account that is being utilized by the trader. Next question.
All right, Thomas, what are your current profit and buy on drop percentages setting? 3%, up and down.
Yes, that's the default. And that's
Yep.
what most of us are all using.
And let me say it again. Don't touch the default settings. How many times do we need to say that? Don't touch them. Do I leave it? Oh, wait a minute. Reese, very next one. Do I leave the settings as default in the example given? Yes.
Yes.
Most people leave them.
Let's see. Okay. Bob, can you speak to what tax to nope. Text time looks like? No. Get yourself a quality CPA that knows something about the crypto market. As a matter of fact, you might want to jump on and watch search for some of that on Crypto Casey's channel, and she may be able to point you to the right people.
Yeah,
I already addressed that.
Lorenzo Abbiatello out of he's out of Miami, but he does people that are in Congress all over domestic United States. He's the guy. Tell him I referred you. He's been doing my stuff for the past 4 years and has saved me a lot of money, and he knows his stuff really well. He's a younger guy looking to grow too. I had to like fire some of my accountants that just are retiring because they frankly don't want to learn the new stuff. So
Yep.
he's a good resource.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay. Thomas says the trader is performing well, and I'm very happy with my returns. I realize there are many factors affecting the percentage return and number of trades per coin. I'm curious as to why the number of trades per month are not nearly as high as the same coins were the same month as listed on the $1 billion list. Ed?
I'm trying to
Well,
get my
I mean,
screen.
quite frankly, the market's been going sideways and down, right? So what you're seeing on the in the past 3 or 4 years, in the past month, another 30% down, right? The reason why you're not seeing a whole lot on that report is because that report reports profitable closed trades. And if it's collecting inventory and it's not selling, it's not going to hit the report yet.
Are we talking about the $1 billion report here?
Yes. Yes.
I'm not sure I understand the question. It's all about when you went in, when you get out, and there's no AI in the report. This report is looking at 2% moves, not 3. I haven't updated it to 3% moves yet. So that could account for the number of trades. 3% moves, it's going to give you less trades. I don't really use this report to look at how many trades. See, I don't care if this is 1,800 or 1,200 at the top. What I care about, if it was 1,200 and it was still the highest coin on the list, then I care about it. I want the ones at the top. I'm not really looking at specific numbers. I just know that I would rather trade the coins at the top over the coins that are trading at the bottom with no, look at these junky numbers compared to the coins at the top. These are closed trades, profitable trades. So all I care about is what's at the top. I'm not going to worry too much about whether this is 78 or 48, say here, this number here. These.
Yep. Casey, can you do me a favor?
Like consistency.
Can you put the number of the proper spelling of your crypto tax guy in the chat?
Do you want it in the webinar chat or the Q&A? I guess the webinar chat.
Webinar chat would be great. Everybody can grab it.
Okay.
I mean, you don't always have to go with the coins we suggest. I mean, look at L3 here. You know, so I was talking to someone the other day about L3, and you know, and that's like not bad numbers, not bad numbers at all for, you
Right.
know, every month, you know, in comparison to other coins. You know, like this one here has 14, 24, 40, you know, and I come up here and I go, wow, he had one bad month, 29, and that was a slow month for everyone. If you look down the list, you can see a lot of coins, even top coins only did a few trades, 18 trades, 7 trades, 13 trades. I mean, these last couple months have been bad. But if you
Because they've
go
been
back,
forcing the prices down.
they've been forcing the prices down and scaring everybody, but the auto traders keep loading up more at the bottom, and then every time they try to do a bounce, we clean up and just take all that profit.
Have you talked a little bit about how it uses that layer 2 data that big institutions do, because so it knows, you know, buy
Well,
and sell pressure?
right, yeah, that's this level 2 data here, where, you know, like you can see right here, 93.4 shares. You see this, the right under the word spread? I mean, if I'm trading Alchemy Pay, I'm probably going to buy 10,000 shares or 30,000 shares, something like that. If I wanted to buy 30,000 or sell 30,000 shares, I'm not going to get that price because there's only 93.4. It's going to end up for 30,000 shares, it's going to have to go down probably to maybe to this price. So instead of getting 2062H, I'm going to get 2062. You know, a lot less. Or 20619, you know, so there's a lot of manipulation in these numbers here, you know. And these are limit orders. I don't know if people realize that. A limit order is when you put an order at the broker and you say, whoops, yeah, and you say that you want to sell at this price, or you want to buy at a certain price. So like what happened to me back in 2001, when I first was setting out to automate the market, I was still writing the software. I went to a prop house where all these professional traders were sitting, like 25 traders sitting in this room, and they were all trading, you know, manually, buying and selling manually, just hitting the keys on the keyboard. And so I bought some Microsoft, and then I'm pretty vocal. So I said, hey, how do I know when to sell this Microsoft that I just bought? You know, and just to see who would bite, if anybody would come and tell me their opinion. And a guy walked up to my right shoulder here, and he said, that's easy. You see that guy's order right there? He pointed at somebody's order on the screen. He said, sell it right under him. So, you know, I'm like, you're kidding me. So that means it's not going to go to his target price. What he wants to sell it at this price, I'm going to sell it at a lower price. My order is going to get filled and his is not. And not only am I doing that, but all these other traders are doing the same thing. And you wonder why those of you who floating those limit orders in public view, why you wonder why it won't go to your price. Have you ever noticed a lot of times it tries to go to your price, but it won't quite hit it and it goes back down? It's because they're drying up all the buyers. They're not letting it go to your price. And that's because you put your order out there in public view. The
That-
auto trader, GoBabyTrade, tracks all the orders internally. It tracks its targets internally. So we don't float any limit orders in public view. So it'll go right through your profit goal like hot butter, man. There's no pause. It'll just go right through it because nobody knows you're really waiting for that target. So that's how
Right.
you get filled, you know, and, you know, so easily with the trader. You know, if we were floating limit orders at the broker or at the exchange, which is the same thing as a broker, it's all the stocks and cryptos are the same. And then we wouldn't be as successful. So I learned that all the way early on. Before I even released my first auto trader in 2001, I learned right away, hide those orders. Don't let anybody know what you're doing. Be invisible. Like playing
So
poker, you're smart enough to know to hide your cards.
that's
If
right.
the
That's why they wear sunglasses.
It's
Hey,
the
Ed.
same thing. Yeah, you want to hide your eyes so they can't read your eyes, when you got to like, you know.
Hey, Ed, I'm going to let you address this one. It's a serious but funny question. Richard's asking, is it possible to do these seminars in 2 hours since we meet weekly and have videos?
I don't know why. I don't know what the rush is. You can watch the videos. Actually,
So,
Richard, you answered the question for yourself. Since you have the video, you can watch it in 2 hours. You can take your
right.
time.
Well,
But no,
the series,
we like to share information. You may have already been on enough of these videos, so you're already bored with us, and maybe you already know everything we're talking about. I like to share what's in my head. I like to share why things are that they are. Some
right.
people, if I'm talking to developers out there, and there are some of you, I know you're out there. I know this board's probably got a bunch of software developers on it. It's okay. I don't mind sharing with you how to do it. Go ahead. I mean, I haven't showed you the internal code, and I think if you saw that, you'd back away from trying to even develop it. I wouldn't go there. You're wasting a lot of years of your life if you're
Yep.
trying to create an auto trader.
Now,
Unless
now
you've
I
got
have a
25 years of your life to spend, because it's already created. Why reinvent the wheel? I've already dedicated my life to doing it.
so Ed, I have a much more serious and much more pointed answer to that question.
I thought
We're
I
not
was.
we're not, and I mean no disrespect. We're not charging for this information. And what you're learning here, you could not, if somebody, maybe we'll start offering teaching these classes and not and charging $20,000 a year for you to get in to expert tents to learn all of this information. It's free because we want you to learn it. We want you to be out of the scam and into the truth. That's why we break it up in two pieces. Yes, we get long-winded, but there's different questions. Some are very similar, but they're asked in a different way, and they all deserve the full, true, transparent answer. So that's why we do record them. So if you want to play us at 5x speed, so we all sound like chipmunks to get to the point that's valuable to you, that's your prerogative. But we're not charging for this information. If we were, it would cost you $20,000 a year.
And people are charging that.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
People
For
do
not
pay
for
this.
for quite frankly, for crap information. They're trying to charge you that based on the crap that people have been teaching, as Ed said earlier, right? You're learning from, or the past has been people have been learning from people that don't even trade, that are teaching, that are not even trading in the market. This
But
is
even the ones that are even legitimate ones, let's say people pay big money to learn from people who know stuff.
right. And if you
For-
never buy,
Like
if you never buy
Myron.
this
How
trader,
about Myron's business?
right.
They pay Myron $50,000.
No, dude, you can't even speak to him. He charges $40,000 an hour. Most of his people pay him $1 million a year with no guarantee.
And that's
Hey,
the
Edward,
truth.
Yep. I know
Edward,
I'm getting on a rant. All right,
we got to
Reese,
move on. We
right,
got to move on.
Reese says sometimes in the reason column, that's in the filled orders, reasons, it says AI and sometimes it doesn't. What's the difference? Ed?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear the question.
Okay, I'll answer the question. Sometimes in the reasons column, it says AI in parentheses, and sometimes it doesn't. What's the difference? Well, the parameters are set to sell at a 3% profit and buy at a 3% decline in price. If AI, so let's just say the market's raging and bonk is breaking like it did a couple of days ago, yesterday and the day before yesterday, is that it's blowing through those 3%. So the money management says, you've told me that I'm supposed to sell at a 3% profit. But what happens is the AI agents, which are the smartest agents in the marketplace, 25 years of clean trading data, looking at pattern recognition. So bonk goes up, and it's an example, could be any coin. Bonk
Right
goes
here,
up,
Tropical Reach,
right?
AI.
Right. It hits the 3%. The money management system says, okay, you told me I'm supposed to sell it, but hey, AI, what do you think? AI says there's a 95% probability it's going to continue to go up. So the money management system says, all right, cool. You let me know when it's the right time to sell. So on a millisecond basis, AI is called to analyze that particular situation. When it drops below 95%, the AI goes back to the money management system and says, okay, I'm not so confident anymore. It's below 95%, sell the position. So it won't just take a 3% profit. It may take a 9%, a 20%, like Ed Barsano was referring to earlier. Back it was, I think it was January when ACH went absolutely crazy. It blew through. It never even touched 3%. It took huge profits percentages, and of course it will do that on the downside as well. If the price is going down, the money management says I'm supposed to buy it. You told me to buy it at 3% down. If it blows through that, it will wait until the AI says it's confident.
Okay. Now here's the simple answer. When a profit is taken, some of them will be taken with AI. Some of them, the AI won't have anything to do with that profit. Period. End of story. Next question.
Okay. All right, Mr.
And
Matter.
now you know why our sessions are so long.
Right. Bob says, does the trader consider the Coinbase trading fees when placing buys and sells?
Yes.
Does Coinbase One help? Yes and yes.
Coinbase One, I'll talk to Coinbase One. Coinbase One is, you get a slight 25%, I believe it's a 25% rebate on the fees that are charged. And by the way, it automatically goes through the Coinbase Advanced where the fees are lower to begin with. It's not on regular Coinbase, it's Coinbase Advanced. But what's nice about Coinbase One is if you do other trading on Coinbase, buying and selling a lot, it's worth having Coinbase One because you can save money every month on your trading fees. The other thing that's really nice is that you get a percentage paid on your, a higher percentage paid interest on your, in Coinbase on your, what do you call it? Your USDC. Okay, so those are the advantages, but if you don't do any trading at all, if you use the trader, if you use Coinbase just for the trader, Coinbase One, really all it's going to do for you is get you a tad more interest, and it's going to give you a 25% rebate on the fees. So it's your call. It's $29.99 per month. You've got to do the math to see if it's worth it for you.
A lot of people sign up for it.
Yeah. Next question.
Okay. Patrick, assuming crypto peaks in Q4, will we need to adjust the settings so that the positions bought at the top don't stay locked in for 4 years until the next cycle top?
There's no such thing as a cycle, but so I mean we're down. It's not really a cycle. It's gameplay. The rich are going to get richer. I don't believe in cycles. So no, I don't. I mean, you can use the trader any way you want. You can change those settings if you want, you know. I'm always going to let the auto trader have whatever inventory it has. I'm not worried about, I think there's too much emphasis on worrying about the positions that are underwater at the top. I think there's too much emphasis on worried about the fact that I'm sitting on 17 open positions here and 21 of the on this one and 43 on this one. There's too much emphasis on worrying about that. All the action is wherever the price is, wherever this is, $9.39. Wherever it goes, this is where you're trading. I'm willing to hold that inventory up there only because when this crypto market takes off, it's going to go up there and I'm going to sell all that. It doesn't even have to go all the way back up there. I started trading ACH at 12 cents. It went down to 1.5 cents and then it went up to 5 cents. And you know, all the inventory I bought from 5 cents down to 1.5 cents all sold off profitably. Then it went back down to 1.5 cents, and the auto trader rebought it all back. Then it went back up to 5.6 cents, and it sold it all again. You know, and now it's back down to 2 cents. So you know, I mean, I'm making all this money down here. I'm not worried about the inventory that I'm still sitting on up here that I bought at 12 cents and 11 cents and 10 cents and 9 cents. I'm not worried. So what? I mean, unless you're really going to run out and do something with it, don't even worry about it. Because when it goes up there, you're going to sell it and take all that profit. What's your choice? Sell it at a loss? You want me to sell $76,000 worth of inventory at a loss? Never happen. That's how lose. That's how people lose. They buy high, sell low, buy high, sell low, buy high, sell low until they're broke. We do the opposite. We buy low, sell high, buy low, sell high, buy low, sell high forever and just take all this free money forever. If you don't
Uh,
have inventory up there, then you have no money, then you have nothing to sell when it gets up there. You are doing the equivalent of having one bag of potato chips on the shelf in your 7-Eleven, and a school bus full of kids pulls in and you don't have any inventory to sell. You got one bag of potato chips. You need to have inventory on the shelf to make money.
Mr. Barsano.
I go off, but it's reality, and I can't, and I want you to understand it, because once you get it, you realize this is going to take profits for the rest of your life. This is a
Bro,
life.
once you take the red pill, there's no going back. So here's the bad news. We have topped 3 hours and 10 minutes right now. So
And we
Okay.
still got an
we're gonna
hour to
take
go.
we're gonna take 2 more questions, and then I want to give some time to give Casey the floor to sort of comment on all of this. But CB, I would like to know what settings Casey is using to DCA. If buying Bitcoin or other large caps at 3%, it will almost never buy. What settings are you using, Casey?
I think Ed could answer that better than I can. I'm only doing Bitcoin and I do have the sell unchecked. And he did look at mine and what was your conclusion? Was there something with it or Ed?
Um, Boy, I don't remember looking at yours.
It was like several months ago. Like
That's
back in
why I probably
January.
don't remember.
Yeah. There
I've
was
looked at
something
1,000
and you looked
pages.
and it was something with the lot sizes.
Hmm. Well, all I know is, we have the new feature that allow buy and allow, or adding on winners and adding on losers. I mean, yeah, adding on advancers and decliners. I would leave both of those checked. Um, but I'm not a buy and holder, Either way, what's nice about the way it dollar cost averages, see, it's different than some people get every month. They say, I'm going to buy another $100 worth of Bitcoin, regardless of where the price is. That's not true dollar cost averaging. You're just changing your average cost, but that's not the way you dollar cost average. You don't really want to buy it twice at the same price. And that's why the auto trader can add on the winners, add when it's going higher, and add when it's going lower, and fill in the gaps. The filling in the gaps is a critical piece, because like when the coin went down to $99 just a few weeks ago, I think it was, Coinbase, or $99,000. No, how much did it go to?
Went below
Yeah,
that.
99,000, right? And then,
Probably like 96, 97.
Yep.
wow, fantastic. And then, but it already was at 111 or 112, and you owned it up there, and then it came all the way down here, and you bought again. You had a lot of no man's land, unowned. You had a lot of space where you didn't own the position. And so that left a lot of room for the auto trader to add on the gaps. So you're going to be able to fill in those gaps that it had that was left open.
Yeah, I mean, Crypto Casey did a video on dollar cost averaging, and then the gap
It
strategy
was a
that you
good
just
video.
added amplifies that, and that's going to help a lot of people that not only that want to take advantage of the trader for two reasons: for trading to create the cash flow that's going to generate profits that they can dump into dollar cost averaging. Now you just amplified the ability to dollar cost average and fill those
Right.
gaps. That it didn't go off in my head until just now. That's amazing.
For
So
money management and risk management, you don't want to buy it twice at the same price. And you want it always to be 3% apart. from from another buy. So you've always got this, I guess, an aura around each buy. When you buy, you got a 3% above that you don't want to buy it at, and 3% below that you don't want to buy it at. And the software makes sure that it does that. That's proper money management when it does it, when it spreads it like that, as opposed to where it's all crunched up like that. Because then when you do that, that makes you a buy and holder almost of just one. You're overweighted in that area of the price. When the software spreads it out perfectly the way it should be, that's why you need an auto trader to do proper dollar cost averaging. And and I specifically program that, based on Crypto Casey's webinar, talking about how you're supposed to dollar cost average, and so I made sure that the software does it exactly right, and that's why I added those things to the screen to show you when it's actually adding to the gap, and when is it adding to the advancer. It used to be before you would just see that it would buy, but you wouldn't know why it bought,
Right.
and now it's telling you why.
All
All
right.
right. So I'm sorry, Attila, go ahead. And I was just going to transition. I'm going to show one slide and then turn it over to Casey for closing remarks. And we're going to send
Perfect.
everybody on their way.
Perfect.
Okay. So people asked, and I mentioned this before, but people have asked, what do what kind of money do I need to start with? And I think I addressed somebody, I apologize, I can't remember who, but said, if I put in $5,000, how can, how long, right? We gave you a whole bunch of answers, but let me give you some just raw math examples. So I'm going to show you two slides. Ed, I'm going to bump you off. Okay.
Yeah, I did. I
All
stopped
right.
sharing.
There you go. Okay. Everybody see my screen?
It's coming up. Yep.
All right. So $5,000 over three, and this I'm calling after the equal is opportunity lost if you don't have the trader, right? And I'm even discounting it by the fact that I'm taking out your 5,000 and I'm taking out the cost of the trader. So your net position of lost opportunity on $5,000 over 3 years is $8,300. But look, 6 years, 45,000. 9 years, we called this a forever trader. If I said, give me $1 and I'll give you 3, how many dollars would you give me? The right
Nine.
answer is all of them, right? So let me show you a different screen. So, but by the way, let me show you. This is at a 50% return. That's about half of what it's been doing for Mr. Barsano's account. And quite frankly, the example that I gave you, the run rate is over 100%. It's not a guarantee, just an observation of what it's done in history, right? So now let's look at this one. Okay? This is if it were, and you can calculate any percentage, if it's 30%, 75%, 80%. But here's another example. That same $5,000 at 100% return a year. Mr. Barsano gave you an example of 100% return in 1 month. No guarantee, but anything's possible. We're at 90% depressed pricing, getting ready to go into a bull market, and anything's possible. 3 years, 31,000. 6 years, on 5,000, 308,000. 9 years, the numbers start getting stupid.
And that's why it's
What'd you
great
rather
when
do?
younger people jump on board. They got all the time in the world to get rich.
Well, I'll reiterate the question and I'll turn it over to Crypto Casey. Would you rather spend $200 on watching crap that comes out of the live box? I mean, I get it. You can't not watch Netflix here and there, but compare what you're spending wherever you're spending $200 versus what this costs over time. $3.19 a day, $27 a week, $97 a month to have the potential for these kinds of returns.
And again, there's no guarantee that we're making with that example.
Nope.
You may make more. Your return may be more. It may be less. This is just based on 50% and 100.
Yeah.
And
Well,
and the market. I'm sorry. And the trader has yet to see a bull market.
right. But let me make it even more ridiculous. If you took those numbers and calculate them by yourself, and it was a 30% return. Where are you getting 30% on your money with mitigated and almost zero risk? Casey talked about, and I wrote a paper recently about what your money is worth when you consider inflation and debasement, which is every time the Fed, and you've seen crypto, Casey, talk about it, every time they fire up the printing machine, the value of your dollar is going down. I did a paper that looked at 1975 versus 2025. The buying power of your dollar that was worth $1 in 1975 has the buying power now of 16.7 cents.
Well,
How
you know,
fast do you want to get?
gas was 30 cents a gallon back then, you know, and now it's
My,
what,
my
$5,
question, my
$8?
question is, how fast do you want to get broke?
And where are all
Oh.
those nickel candy bars anymore? You know, what happened to them?
You and your, all right, Casey. We are so grateful of your time. Please put the icing on the cake, add some value as you always do.
Sure. I mean, I've been using the product now for 18 months. This is my third bull cycle. I believe it started a little while ago. And before that, the game was, buy some altcoins, wait for 3 years, broke, and then all of a sudden they go up for about 6 months. If you're lucky, you sell and you make some money, but hey, it took 3 years and you went down 50, 60, 90%. You're not making any money. The only money you're making is whatever active income you have or whatever kind of, maybe you have some other cash flow generating assets. This time around, though, I've actually been making money in the bear market, besides for active income and besides for other cash flow generating assets. This is the first time I've made money trading crypto in a bear market. And it's because of this technology. And look, I thought it was a scam. I was very skeptical. I was hesitant to make a video. It took like eight months, and a couple of my close friends that were also like very risk on, and we didn't, we just wanted to try out some stuff. And I mean, that's just been my personal experience. And even last March, whenever the market got really strange, in a good way, it made a lot of money. And so if that's any kind of just small part of how this bull market, how it will perform in this bull market, whenever, hey, the big beautiful bill, the $5 trillion, all this stuff, the Fed starts dropping rates, it's going to be probably pretty insane. That's just my experience so far, though.
That's your,
Awesome.
that's your two Bitcoin opinion. Thank you, Casey. Thank you, Mr. Barsano. Where's
I'm
your
not
icing on the cake?
try to chop Casey. No way.
No,
No, that was
yeah.
I think that was a beautiful close. In all honesty,
I'm just being honest. I didn't even know
Yeah.
what to say with closing. I was just like, well, I'm gonna say just
Yeah.
my
I know.
experience. That's how it is.
Well, I appreciate that, and I'm this, I feel the same way, the auto trader is designed to just crank out money. I don't overthink it. I think a lot of questions people throw, you got all this intensity of why this and how about that and all this. And I'm like, man, you're so overthinking this. It's just, it's just numbers going up and down. Just take the money,
Yeah, take advantage of the
That's how
blessing
I
that
do. I don't even think about it. I don't think of finances anymore. I don't do any of that. I remember years ago I used to wonder how could you ever buy a house? I don't know if any of you ever used to think the way I did. It's like how could you ever buy a house? I'd be walking down the street wondering, how could you based on the salaries that, what I was making and all. So to create a fully robotic trader that just cranks out money and it just takes me out of having to worry about all the stuff out there, the hedge funds and the mutual funds and the CDs and God knows all the stuff and even the banks trying to, hey, if you got any more questions, you want to talk to our Merrill guy, and I'm like, oh man, God no, I don't wanna.
Hot off the
I don't want
press.
to hear any of that stuff. I have an auto trader that cranks out money almost every day of my life, and I love it, and I literally don't have to worry about anything.
And
Hot
I don't
off
know
the
if
press.
anybody else has other experience with AI, but I have a Tesla. I have some friends that have Teslas. Like since 2020, these cars are driving themselves. We're putting rockets on moving platforms in the ocean. It's not that far-fetched that numbers going up and down with level 2 data that AI can make 3 and 5% profits, small profits over time that accumulate.
That's a
It's
crazy cool
actually not
example.
that crazy if we think about what is happening around the world right now.
Yeah, that's a great example.
You're right. That's what I've always been saying too. I mean, we got what's that one ship that's been a Voyager that's still been going for 40 years out there?
So
And it's only one light day away. It's one light day away, by the way.
Attila has a very important point.
Yeah, well, I mean, listen, here's the bottom line for everybody that's still with us, and we appreciate your patience, that if you know that it's just numbers going up and down, if you know, by the way, hot off the press, as I'm saying this on my screen, Bitcoin is now at $116,000. Just hit it as I'm talking. But if you know that it's just numbers going up and down, if you know the genius with 50 years of programming experience has the market trapped, if you know that it's set it and forget it, which it is, if you know that it's way underpriced, and if you know it's got 25 years of cold hard data and experience behind it, proven wins, then it's kind of a no-brainer. So all I got to say is put your money to work, go forth and multiply your money using this technology. It's all about using technology and AI, as Crypto Casey said. Utilize the AI that's out there, and this has AI built into it. And we're here to help you. You've got our email addresses. You've got Casey's link to save $1,000. We're here every Wednesday. This was an exception, being a Thursday. Normally it's Wednesdays, 2:00 Eastern time, PM. And we look forward to seeing you again. So thank you, Crypto Casey. You were great. Ed Barsano, you were great again, as always. And my business partner, Edward, great job. And with that, folks, we'll see you next
Thanks to
week.
everybody. Yes.
Yes.
Hold on a second. Lloyd is trying to buy the trader. This is for you, Ed. He says, I'm having trouble confirming payment and sending you back to GoBabyTrade. I used USDC in my Coinbase account. It's just spinning. How would you like him to contact you to get that resolved?
Somebody reported that this morning, and then he ended up just paying. I can help him. Just tell him, shoot an email to support@gobabytrade.com.
Yeah.
And
Lloyd, sorry that you're having trouble. Welcome to the family. We're here to
we'll resolve
support.
that in a minute.
Okay. Excellent.
Awesome.
Yep. With that, as your host, Edward Pereira, my counterpart and very good friend, Attila Hevesi, Crypto Casey, we love you.
Thank you.
so much
I
for
appreciate you guys.
taking time out. Mr. Barsano, the genius as ever. We're going to start giving t-shirts away with down is good with your face and your name on it. So stay tuned. You think it's a joke, but I'm actually having them made. So
and expect the recording in your inbox in the email tomorrow, folks. About 24 hours or less, you will have the full recording.
Yep. And a reminder for the for registration for next week. Mr. Barsano, let me say thank you for creating a record 3 hours and 27 minutes. So
that was Casey. Casey talked so much. We went 23 minutes over.
I just have so much to say.
So everybody, thank you so much. And we'll see you again soon. And keep an eye out to see when Casey may come to visit us again. We're all three of us are just jazzed every time we see her. Great person, great value, great friend. I hope I can call you friend. It's just been an absolute gas, and I think we're serving people well. So live long and prosper.
All right, thanks guys. Be safe out there.
Good night. Your famous go away.
Go neighbors.
Cheers.